Welcome to the court gallery. This is the dramatic continuation of a freeway shooting trial full of road rage and regret. The day begins with a government employee placing the defendant at an appointment just 30 minutes before the altercation. Then the victim himself takes the stand, recounting the terrifying moment a bullet tore through his mouth, shattering 12 of his teeth and costing him his hearing. And in a stunning turn, the defendant takes the stand in his own defense. He admits he was the shooter, but tells the jury he was in fear for his life, claiming the other driver was the aggressor. Will the jury see it as self-defense or aggravated assault? We find out as they return with a verdict, and it all starts right now. Well, I thought we were starting right now. Apparently, I don't know what I'm doing. Really? That's just embarrassing. Hi. How are you guys doing tonight? I'm doing well. Everything's going well. Don't worry about it. Everything's just honky-dory. Woohoo!
Good morning. Let the record reflect the jury is seated, state's attorneys present, defendant and defense counsel are present. Mr. Coleman, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Mr. Roach.
Morning.
I think where we left off yesterday was a discussion about the surveillance video equipment at the government entity or agency that you work for in downtown Beaumont. Just to be clear, I think you established that video surveillance equipment was both reliable and capable of making an accurate recording, correct?
Correct.
And that you have no reason to believe that recording equipment was not properly functioning on June the 12th of 2025, correct?
Correct.
So since we already had a rocky start, I figure I'll just go ahead and jump in here and say, hey, look, you remember this lady from the last time we were here? And we were all talking to ourselves saying, hey, why won't they just come out and tell us what mysterious governmental agency she might work for? Well, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. Very soon, we will hear something the jury did not get to hear, and we will have all of those answers. Thank you very much for hanging with me through our little technical snafu right there. And I want to welcome everybody and give Stephen an early thank you for his super chat. Let's get this thing rolling, shall we? Happy Catterday. Bat Boy is back. He's got a big super chat too. Let me do this real quick. I never do the super chats as they come in. Thank you, Bat Boy is back. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Marty. Thank you, everybody. I'm doom scrolling. I can't do it. I can't find the other one. It's here someplace though. But yeah, hey, it's that time. It's that case. We're doing it right now. Thank you all for being
here. And may I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Sure.
For the record, I am showing you a USB drive. Did I have marked as State's Exhibit number 67? Do you recognize this USB drive?
Yes.
How do you recognize it?
That's my initials in state.
And that indicates what to you?
That I have reviewed what's on that thumb drive.
And when did you review it?
Yesterday.
After court?
Yes.
Okay. And on this thumb drive, does it contain the surveillance video that you have testified thus far about in this trial?
Yes.
In fact, it's essentially 3 snippets or clips of videos. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And do you have any reason to believe that those are not true and fair, accurate snippets of surveillance video from June the 12th, 2025?
No.
All right. Now, at this time, State Office State 67. It's been previously provided to Defense Counsel in the stuff.
I just have a short board already.
Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
One thing I didn't hear, Ms. Roach, is are you the custodian of the records?
I'm a custodian of records.
Excuse me?
I'm a custodian of records.
Have you testified as such before?
No,
Have you ever been designated by the party that employs you as custodian of the records?
no,
Your Honor, for the record, I have to object that she is not the custodian of the records, subject to that.
That's overruled. She stated that she is one of the custodian of records. It's admitted.
Permission to publish, Judge?
Yes, sir.
It's a pretty quick video. I'm going to go back and at least that snippet. I'll go back and pause it. Please tell the is that the front door to the agency there?
yes,
And is it fair to say that it looks like an individual wearing a red head covering or hat is walking through that door there that day on June the 12th of 2025?
yes,
Okay. For the record, we'll move on to the next, the second of the 3 clips. Please describe let me just ask it this way. Are we seeing is this a view of the outside parking lot of that agency that you work for?
yes,
And is it fair to say that we see a white, I don't know if you know the type of vehicle, if you do, feel free to give them the name and type of vehicle, but is it fair to say there's a white SUV type vehicle with a black top, black wheels driving away from that agency?
yes,
Again, on the same day, June the 12th of 2025.
yes,
For the record, we're looking at the last of the 3 clips of video on that USB drive. And is it fair to say it's essentially a side-by-side of both the individual with the red hat walking out and the parking lot showing that individual, what it appears to be, getting into that white SUV and driving away?
yes,
Now, the agency that you work for, they maintain records about who has various appointments on various days, right?
yes,
Your agency also maintains information identifying information about these individuals who have appointments on certain days, correct?
correct,
Okay. And you've reviewed that information, correct?
correct.
That information would have been created and maintained.
Sure. All right, we're back on the record. State's attorney's present, defendant, defense counsel are present. Anything before we get started?
Sure, I have a small matter I'd like to put on the record and then ask some questions of this witness.
Outside the presence of the jury.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
And I want to get my approach.
Sure.
I show you what has been marked for this hearing only as defendant's exhibit number 1. Is that the document, Ms. Roach, that you provided me that you were about to testify about?
Yes,
And this document pertains to an Asa Jones, which was part of your department. And for the record, for this purpose only, you work for the Jefferson County Probation Department. Is that correct?
correct,
And this document had pertained to Asa Jones, who's the defendant today,
yes,
correct? And this is a call log that you, or a log of, I guess, what he's done in probation over time.
chronological,
And you're going to testify as to telephone calls from this document and things like that. Is that correct?
in reference to his appointment.
Right.
Yes. Well, text messages that our system sends out.
Okay. You do not know Mr. Jones.
Correct,
Okay. Your Honor, at this time, I'm going to object to any testimony from this witness. It's based on, one, is that she does not have personal knowledge, that number one is. But number two is that if you allow her to testify to a document that has not been entered into evidence and can't be entered into evidence because there's a motion in limine in reference to who she works for, that is Jefferson County Probation Department, a prior conviction this court ruled on prior to this trial that we were not to get into, then I would ask that she be not able to then testify off a document about appointments to where, appointments to who, things like that, and what time. And so I'm going to object to that testimony, Judge. And I tender this for this purpose only, this hearing, defendant's number one.
Any objection to defendants one for purposes of the record only?
No, Judge.
And Mr. Coleman, what exactly is your intent with regard to questioning Ms. Roach?
The only thing I'm going to attempt to elicit from this witness, Judge, based on those business records, is the fact that those records reflect an appointment that day on June the 12th of 2025 for an individual named Asa Jones. And secondly, that in their records, there is identifying information that includes the defendant's date of birth, the date of birth for Asa Jones. And also those identifying records, they have a photograph of Asa Jones. I'm going to ask her if, based on that photograph maintained in their business record, if that photograph resembles anybody in the courtroom here today. And that's the extent of the testimony I want to elicit from this witness, Judge. I think it is very probative. It is relevant. It is part of the state's timeline because subsequent witnesses will testify. In fact, this witness, based on those business records, will testify that his appointment was at 3:30 that day on June the 12th, about 30 minutes prior to the incident involving the shooting. And we have cell phone records that will track the movements that will align with that timeline and her testimony.
Right, she did not have any personal knowledge of whether he made that appointment or not. But again, she's testifying to documents that based on the motion in limine should not be testified to, would have not been entered into evidence, nor have I saw the documents now, but were not provided under 3914.
Okay, so a couple things. One, the motion in limine in my order was not that none of that could be talked about or used at all. Specifically, we've already looked at the video, which I admitted, and the whole point is that everything is going to be under the umbrella of a government entity, and it's no different, in my opinion, her testifying to business records that she's a custodian of, that you can cross-examine. Did he do you know personally if he showed up or not, or whatever that is? But as far as what the records show and the fact that she is a custodian of those records, I'm going to allow her to testify from the records. Now, if you want the records admitted, then you guys can get together and redact the records in such a way that would only show pertinent information that she's testifying to, and it could be admitted for the jury to look at if you want to do that.
Just one question, Judge. If you're going to allow her to testify to that and then say, was a photograph taken of her, aren't you alluding to what type of agency? Isn't this alluding to what type of agency?
I mean, when you get your TWIC card, you get a photo taken. There's all kinds of governmental agencies where you have to have photos, fingerprints, identifying information.
And I have a rule on justice.
It's overruled. And again, it sounds like Mr. Coleman doesn't have any intention of trying to admit these records, but if you want to on cross, then you need to take some time and get those redacted in the way that would be in line with the motion in limine. So whatever y'all want to do, but they're admitted for this. If Ms. Roach needs to use them, I'm going to let her use them. to look at, but they're admitted for record purposes only at this time.
Based on the court's ruling, if now the court is saying that if I want them admitted to go ahead and redact and stuff, that is not his complete file. That's just a snippet of his file.
Do you want his complete file from probation in the record, Mr. Burbank?
Well, I don't, but that's what you asked is that.
No, I'm saying if you want her, what she's using to testify to the limited purposes that she's testifying are these documents that show an
The
appointment.
only reason why I raised that, Judge, is that if I'm only gonna take a snippet, then I should take possibly a look at, if I'm going down that avenue, and I'm not going to, possibly. But
Why would you?
for her to bring the file, because once it's admitted, then it's gonna come out, where's it from? And so,
Let's do this. If you during cross-examination want to try to admit it, great. If not, cross-examine. If you want to call Miss Roach back, in your case in chief, and between now and then, you can have time to get with Miss Roach and she can provide that whole file, then you can always recall her for any other testimony regarding that file. Obviously, I would just be very careful that you don't open a door that you don't want opened. I'm allowing this for very limited purposes with very limited for you and for him. So I don't want to go down. I mean, if you want more in, that's going to be between you guys, but I'm going to allow her to testify to the limited purposes that Mr. Coleman has proffered. And so this is admitted for record purposes only.
Have a copy.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Anything else then before we get started?
Not from stages.
I would just ask at her convenience, could you get his file for me at lunchtime, so I can possibly take a look then? Thank you.
I'm curious, if I may judge, how voluminous do you think it might be? Is this something we need to put on like a disk or USB drive? Or
Let's take care of this on
Yes,
the
ma'am.
break. Y'all know how to get in touch with
Yes.
Ms. Roach. If you'll just she may not even know, but once you get back, if you'll kind of take a look at that and start getting it prepared so that you can have it ready for Mr. Burbank during the lunch hour. All right, anything else? All right, you can bring the jury in. All right, let the record reflect the jury seated, state's attorney is present, defendant and defense counsel are present. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Roach, we were talking about your access to the records there at the government entity that you work for. And I just want to make sure I ask this question, if those records were, if you reviewed certain records that were maintained in the ordinary course of business for that governmental entity.
Yes,
And those records, would they have reflected appointments, dates and times for certain individuals?
yes,
And on June the 12th of 2025, was there an appointment that was reflected that's relevant to this case here today?
yes.
And who was the individual that had an appointment on that day?
Asa Jones.
Asa Jones. What time does those business records reflect that Asa Jones had an appointment with that entity on that day?
At 3:30.
At what time?
3:30 p.m.
3:30 p.m. on June the 12th of 2025. The same day that we see an individual on the surveillance video wearing a red head covering, getting into a white SUV with a black top, correct?
Correct.
Those business records that you have access to there by virtue of your employment, do they also have or contain identifying information as it relates to individuals who have appointments with your entity?
Yes,
Does that identifying information include a date of birth?
yes.
What is the date of birth, reflected for Asa Jones in your business records?
February 16th to 1999.
February 16th of 1990. Does those records indicate, as part of the identifying information, does it also have a photograph of those individuals?
Yes,
Is there a photograph in your business records associated with the individual by the name of Asa Jones with the date of birth of 16/19/99.
Yes,
Do you see an individual in the courtroom here today that resembles that photograph maintained in your business records for Asa Jones?
yes.
Would you please point to him and identify him by an article of clothing that he's wearing?
Sitting at the table in the glasses, the long sleeve shirt next to Mr. Burbank.
I'd ask the record reflect the witnesses identify the defendant, Judge.
The record will so reflect.
Thank you, Mr. Roach. That's all the questions I have, Judge. I pass the.
Thank you. Mr. Burbank.
Again, good morning. You do not know Asa Jones, correct?
Right,
You were not there during this time period. Were you working during this time period?
yes.
Did you know whether or not he appeared for his appointment or not?
According to the notes, he did.
And when did the appointment was at 3:30? How long was the appointment for?
They're usually
What do you know?
yes, I've been present for some of those appointments.
My question then is, do you know specifically how long that appointment was for?
No.
You can only guesstimate based on whatever, but how long did you usually, because I know that is the next question coming.
15, 20 minutes.
So that's 20 minutes. And this place that this video was it in downtown Beaumont?
Yes,
Nothing further to it.
Thank you, Mr. Burbank. Anything else?
No, Your Honor, I have no further questions for Ms. Roach.
Any objection to Ms. Roach being excused?
No, Judge.
Except.
Thank you, Ms. Roach. And you're placed under the rule and you know what that means.
yes.
You may call your next witness.
The state calls Mary Chapman.
If you'll just, there you go. Just make sure you can speak loudly and clearly into the microphone.
Yes,
And if it's a yes or no question, be sure to say yes or no, not just a uh-huh or a head nod so the court reporter can take everything down.
This one.
Thank you. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Would you please state your full name for the court reporter and the ladies and gentlemen of the jury?
Officer Mary Chapman, MARY, CHAT as in Tom, MAN.
And Officer Chapman, who do you work for?
The Beaumont Police Department.
And were you working for the Beaumont Police Department back on June the 13th of 2025?
Yes, sir.
And did a particular social media post by the Beaumont PD capture your attention?
Yes, sir.
Was it regarding a shooting?
Yes, sir.
And what specifically about this social media post drew your attention?
I recognized the individual that was posted on the Facebook post. I was familiar with him, and so I basically just reached out to him.
And how were you familiar with this individual?
Me and him went to school together from Caldwood up into Austin Middle School, and then we lost contact after middle school.
And you reached out to him via cell phone, correct?
Yes, sir.
And the cell phone number that you reached out to him, do you have that reflected there in your report?
Yes, sir, I do.
What was that?
The phone number was 409-554-5653.
And the person who answered that phone, did you recognize that person's voice to be the voice of Asa Jones?
Yes, sir.
I don't know if we covered this, but I want to make sure that it's on the record. The individual that you saw in that social media post by BPD on June 13th of 2025, did you recognize that person to be Asa Jones?
Yes, sir. They were basically posting a picture, and he was a person of interest in reference to like a victim of a shooting. And I think they had stated that he had like 3 active warrants out for his arrest.
Okay, that's
Check
enough.
the hearsay.
Sustained.
But nevertheless, you recognized him, right?
Yes, sir.
And you encouraged him to turn himself in, correct?
Correct.
And you made it a point not to talk specifically about the case or about what he was accused of, correct?
Yes, sir.
Do you see the individual in the courtroom here today that you knew from school, that you recognized in that social media post, and that you talked to after calling that phone number 409-554-5653? Do you see that individual in the courtroom here today?
Yes, sir.
Would you please point to him and identify him by an article of clothing that he's wearing?
It's the backman sitting over there, the long sleeve shirt on.
The one wearing the glasses?
Correct.
And I ask that the record reflect the witness has identified the defendant.
The record will so reflect.
That's all I have. I'll pass the witness.
Thank you. Mr. Burbank?
Yes. Morning, officer.
Good morning, sir.
Where do you work now?
I'm still with the Beaumont Police Department.
What do you do?
I'm a police officer.
Patrol?
Yes, sir. Active patrol.
What shift do you work?
Third watch, I work the afternoon shift.
Oh, afternoon, so it's like 3 or 4 till 11,
It's the 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. shift.
11 a.m. to, so you're not coming off duty like at 7 o'clock this morning.
No, sir.
Okay, good. You testified that you know Asa.
Correct.
What school did y'all go to?
Caldwell Elementary and then Austin Middle School.
Austin Middle School. And how about high school?
I went to Westbrook. I'm not familiar with high school you went to.
So after middle school, you kind of separated,
Correct.
and y'all knew each other during grammar school or elementary school and middle school.
Yes, sir.
Guess y'all became friends.
Yes, sir.
And what year? I hate to ask you this, but what year did you graduate high school?
I graduated in 2018.
So this would have been about 2014. Before that,
Give or take.
8 years prior to that, you had known him.
Yes, sir.
And you had known him enough to know that he worked at Popeyes, right?
Right.
So he had a job all the time, right? And I guess after high school, you went to the military.
Correct.
How long did you stay in the military?
About 4.5 years.
Okay, good. Thank you for your service.
Thank you, sir.
And then you returned back and then became a Beaumont police officer.
Yes, sir.
And you must have still had some type of contact with him, correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you see him when you got back off and on?
Yes, sir. Frequently I would come home on my 4 days and holiday visitation. And so I kind of like just kept in touch with him. We became friends on Snapchat. And when I came in town for visitation from leave, I would just catch up with him and we'll talk. Sometimes I'll go see him.
Did you know his family too?
Yes, I'm familiar with him.
Okay. And so you kept in contact, and after you became a police officer, what year, I have to ask, what year did you become a police officer?
2024 after I passed the
Okay. Did you contact him or did you have contact with him even after 2024?
frequently, not as much.
Right. Well, you would run in or run into him. Did you ever call him or anything? Say, hey, how you doing? Or
No, we were just acquaintances. We wasn't that familiar, really
Right.
close.
okay. And so after this incident, the police department posted some pictures saying, hey, do you know where this person is, Mr. Jones, right?
Yes, sir.
And when you saw that picture, you immediately had his cell phone number, right?
Yes,
I
sir.
guess was in your cell phone.
Yes,
So
sir.
you hit the dial and you said, hey, Asa, you know they're looking for you, right?
I didn't say that, but something similar.
Well, similar to that, saying,
Yes, sir.
you know, you need to take care of this, right?
Yes, sir.
And based on that, when you contacted him, he said, yes, he was going to turn himself in, right?
Yes, sir.
He was waiting after Father's Day.
Correct.
And he has a child, doesn't he?
I think several.
Objection
I
to
only
the
will-
relevance of whether or not the defendant has children or not.
Sustained.
Well, he was waiting until after Father's Day, right?
Correct.
Okay. Did he have a father? I know
Objection
he had
to
a
relevance,
father.
Judge.
Sustained.
Can you repeat the question?
It's all right. You don't have to answer it.
In your report, you did mention Father's Day, correct?
Yes, sir.
And did you mention his daughter in your report?
No, not that I'm aware of. I don't think so.
If I showed you a copy of
Judge,
this
objection,
report,
Judge.
What's the,
Judge.
Mr. Burbank, what's the relevance?
well, it's in her report, Judge.
That's all right. What's the relevance? There's
Relevance is what she reported in her report.
the objection sustained.
And then do you know whether or not after that date, did he turn himself in?
I don't know what day he actually turned himself in. I knew it was after Father's Day, but I don't remember the exact date.
Very good. And I guess you didn't have any communications afterwards with him.
No, sir.
Still have his cell phone number?
I think so.
Thank you very much. Pass on, Ms. Yard, subject to recall.
No further questions, Judge.
Any objection to Officer Chapman being excused?
No, Your Honor.
Still under the rule.
Thank you, ma'am. And you're placed under the rule already, and you know what that means.
Thank you.
And Ms. Chapman Officer Chapman was previously sworn as well, so. You may call your next witness.
The state calls Anthony Knish. And that's for the record. Well, I'll let him specify.
You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Would you please state your full name for the court reporter and spell it, please?
Michael Kinich, Anechtel.
And do you also go by Anthony?
I do go by Anthony.
Okay, all right. Like a middle name, because I've got it down as Anthony Knish.
That's Michael Anthony Kinich.
All right, very good. And how are you employed, Mr. Knish?
I'm employed by Verizon Wireless.
I'm sure everybody's familiar with Verizon Wireless and what they do. Cell phone carrier, right?
That is correct.
And your training and background. Well, first of all, what is your position with Verizon?
In this capacity, I'm a custodian of records, but I work in executive relations.
Very good. And by virtue of your employment, you have access to the records that are created and maintained in the ordinary course of business by Verizon, correct?
That is correct.
And those records, they would have entries that are made in there that would have been made by someone at or near the time those events transpired. Is that fair to say?
That is correct.
And those records, those events, they would have been created by someone with some sort of knowledge as to the events or the information reflected in those records, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And did Verizon receive a search warrant that's related, a search warrant from Beaumont PD that was signed by a district judge seeking cell phone data records for a cell phone with the number, I know it's a long question, I'm sorry, for records for a cell phone with the number 409-554-5653.
That is correct.
Okay. And once that search warrant was received, is it the normal course of action for a Verizon case number to be assigned?
That is correct.
And the Verizon case number that was assigned related to that search warrant request was 253-885-08, correct?
That is correct.
Now, before we talk about what, if any, data was provided pursuant to the search warrant, give the ladies and gentlemen of the jury an idea of the typical type of data that is turned over pursuant to a search warrant.
The data that is turned over in a search warrant is specific to the request of the search warrant. In this case, there was information about text, picture messaging, voicemail, call logs, data sessions that included latitude, longitude, included cell phone tower location, address of cell towers, everything that a user could use their phone for was included, subscriber information.
Okay, fair enough. I want to focus specifically on the cell phone tower location and the longitude and latitude. Again, speaking in general terms, those cell phone tower location data, including longitude and latitudes, what could they be used for by law enforcement? What are some of the typical uses?
Law enforcement would use the cell tower information to triangulate where on our network somewhere was. The cell tower has alpha, beta, gamma coordinates. So law enforcement can take the location of where the cell tower was used to map on a map where the subscriber was moving to or where they were.
For a given day and even for a given time period, generally speaking?
That is correct.
Okay. And that's by virtue of the fact that as these cell phones are traveling, what are they doing?
As a cell phone travels, it can hand off to other cell towers, or it can stay on the same cell tower. So law enforcement can take the movement through the cell towers to map the location or driving location of an individual.
And Verizon maintains that data.
That is correct.
Data that could be sorted, separated by date, and even by time.
That is correct.
And did you, pursuant to the search warrant in this case, related to the phone number 409-554-5653, provide such data?
That is correct.
And is that data specific, typically provided like in an Excel spreadsheet?
The data is outputted to an Excel spreadsheet. That is correct.
Okay. And that Excel spreadsheet could be saved on a USB drive, for instance, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah. And that's the data that would be used by law enforcement, correct?
That is correct.
May I approach the witness? Your
Yes, sir.
Mr. Knish, I am going to show you where I am marking as states exhibit number 68. And so I have a sticker on here first. And I'll ask you, at least for first, I'll identify for the record, it's a USB drive. I'll ask you if you recognize this USB drive.
I do.
And by what method do you recognize that USB drive?
I initialed my initials in today's date.
Today's date signifying what?
That I reviewed the documents today.
And in reviewing those documents or the data on this USB drive, what, if anything, did you compare it to?
I had a copy of the records, so I used my copy of the records and paralleled it with your copy of the records to make sure the file name, sizes, number of files are the exact match.
Any reason to believe that the files or the data contained on State's Exhibit number 68 have been manipulated or altered or changed in any way?
It has not.
Okay. Now, at this time, State Officer State 68, which has been previously provided to defense counsel in discernment.
Just a couple of questions, Judge.
Sure.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Where are you located out of?
Greenville, South Carolina.
Welcome to Texas. Your purpose of testifying today is pursuant to the document or the warrant given to your company, you then retrieved, or someone in your company retrieved that data, correct?
That is correct.
You didn't retrieve the data. All you did was look at it and see if it purported to be that data.
That is correct.
So you didn't actually do it. I mean, you didn't actually do it, but I know you're the custodian of the records and you came down here saying that's what your procedure is, but you have no personal knowledge of actually doing this.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, you didn't pull the data from downloaded, right?
That is correct.
Right. You reviewed it afterwards after you received the subpoena.
That is correct.
And then did you send it on to Beaumont, Texas?
I did not.
Okay. So when you came down from Greenville, you had your documents that you provided pursuant to the warrant, right?
That's correct.
And then you looked at this UBS,
Yes.
USB. I'm going to get it, Judge.
It's
It's
helping
only
me
10
out.
o'clock in the morning. I'm sorry. And then make sure it was the same thing. It wanted to be the same thing, right?
That's correct.
Okay. You didn't do any you didn't take this information and do anything that you just testified to as to try to track a phone, locations, maps, anything like that.
Can you repeat the question?
Sure. You didn't take this data and then try to use it, like, for instance, you testified as to longitude and latitude. You didn't try to do anything like that.
No.
Right. Or you didn't try to go through the text messages to see when, where, and how that was made or any of the contents.
I validated that the records that you received, the court
Right.
received, and our records were the same records.
Right. And that's all you did, but you didn't put it to any use. You didn't put that information to any use.
I mean, I'm here now testifying.
I know with a misunderstanding. All you did was compile, well, you didn't compile, but you were aware of what was asked. You looked at what was provided by your company to the Beaumont Police Department, correct?
It's a check and balance system. So
Right. Right. My question though is that now that we have this data here, okay, you didn't do anything else with it, like see where that cell phone was, or you didn't do anything like that,
I
right?
reviewed the document so I could see where it was.
Well, did you go and look and see where the cell phone was during this period of time?
I did not. I'm a custodian of records. I validate records.
And that's what I was asking. Was you didn't do anything further than provide the documents that your company was requested to provide.
Right. I'm here as a custodian of records.
That's what I was trying to get at. So, okay. No objections to this, Judge, but I do have an objection if he's going to talk about any type of location or any use of this information.
State 68 admitted.
Mr. Kanish, I believe those are all the questions I have for you. Thank you for making the trip. I'll pass it with this, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Coleman. Any other questions, Mr. Burbank?
I asked them all.
All right. Any objection to Mr. Kanish being excused?
No, no.
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. You're excused. And Mr. Kanish, you're placed under the rule. And so I think you probably know what that means, but don't discuss your testimony with anyone else involved in the trial other than the lawyers or the investigators. You can't be in the courtroom during anyone else's testimony, and don't watch any of the proceedings on YouTube.
Okay.
All right, you're free to go, sir. You may call your next witness.
State calls Aaron Llewellyn.
You may proceed.
Your Honor, would you please state your full name for the court reporter and for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
My name is Aaron Llewellyn.
And I am always confused because I first came to know you as Task Force Officer Llewellyn, but it's Detective Llewellyn with BPD, but you're also a Task Force Officer for what agency?
The FBI.
For the FBI. And how many total years do you have in law enforcement?
28.
All right. And briefly, your training and background, I'm sure. Well, let me back up. You're a certified peace officer, right?
I am.
Okay. And I'm sure you've been in many schools. It just gives the ladies and gentlemen of the jury an idea of the types of specialized training that you've had over the years.
After graduating from the police academy, I got hired by Milwaukee PD as a dispatcher. About a year later, I became an officer on the streets. And in 2007, I became a detective where I was assigned to the Crimes Against Property Unit. And in 2010, I was assigned to the Crimes Against Persons Unit. And then for about the past 6 years, I've been assigned as a task force officer to the FBI, where I focus on violent crime.
In addition to the many hats you wear or have worn, you also analyze or deal with cell phone data, correct?
Correct.
In what capacity? How do you do that?
So essentially, we have access to a software program called Nighthawk. And once somebody gets a search warrant and gets cell phone records, we upload that data into the software, and it helps us plot cell phone data on a map.
Have you used the Nighthawk software on a few? Well, what preceded Nighthawk? It was Cellhawk, right?
We had a program called Cellhawk, which is the first version of cell phone data mapping program. Cellhawk still exists, but they have a more advanced program called Nighthawk. They're both pretty expensive, so the city won't give us access to one, so now we use Nighthawk.
Okay. So, but both Cellhawk and Nighthawk serve similar purposes. Is that fair to
Yes.
say? And you've used both.
I have
And have you done so on a few or on many occasions?
many occasions.
And have you personally found Cellhawk and Nighthawk to be reliable?
Yes,
In fact, are they both used widely by the law enforcement community?
it is.
And can you use that software to take a data provided by a cell phone carrier in an Excel spreadsheet to upload? And can you upload data from a cell phone carrier that's in an Excel spreadsheet?
Yes.
And after doing that, what are some of the things that you can do with that data that's been uploaded into Nighthawk?
So essentially what it does is when we upload that spreadsheet, it automatically imports all the location data, dates, times, all that good stuff. And we'll map it out like a Google map for us and show us what cell towers a phone will hit.
Now, in this particular case, where you provided with cell phone data from Verizon for the cell phone number of 409-554-5653.
I was.
Did Verizon identify that information by their case number of 253-885-08?
They did.
And is that data that you entered into Nighthawk?
It is.
Were you able to generate a map or Google type map for this particular case, for that particular cell phone number, using that data?
I was.
And were you able to narrow that map down to the date of June the 12th of 2025?
Yes.
And were you able to further narrow it down on that day to a window of about 3 p.m. to about 4 p.m.?
I was.
May I approach the witness?
Yes, sir.
Detective, I want to show you what I am marking as states exhibits 69 and 70. Now, I'll ask you to take a look at states 69. Tell me if you recognize it. Just tell me if you recognize it before you start testifying from it.
I do.
And is it one of the maps created by Nighthawk that you're testifying about here today?
It is.
Okay. And is it a fair and accurate copy of the map that you generated using that data?
It is.
Does it appear to be manipulated or changed in any way?
No.
And I'm also showing you states exhibit number 70. And again, before you start testifying from it, I just simply want to know if you recognize it and what do you recognize it to be?
I do recognize it as one of the maps created by Nighthawk.
All right, using that same cell phone data that you just testified to.
Yes.
Again, does this one appear to be altered in any way or manipulated in any way?
No.
All right. Judge, at this time, stay off for state 69 and 70. I'll turn
No
it.
objections to stage 69 and 70.
69 and 70 are admitted.
Commissioner Bowes.
Yes, sir.
Detective, we'll start with states 69. If it's helpful, it should come up on the screen behind you there. You want to use a pointer or laser pointer? I'll try to zoom in here. Could you orient the jury, please? And if you need to stand, with the judge's permission, if you can stand, use a pointer, maybe that'll help.
It's a map of downtown Beaumont.
Give them an idea of what roadways we're looking for. Yeah, here.
So if you notice here, this is MLK.
Okay,
One of the other major streets through here is you're going to see the downtown streets of Liberty, Broadway, Julia Rogers Theater, Police Department's over here.
again, this is on what date? June 12th of 2025?
Yes, sir.
And around what time are we talking about?
I believe it was around 3:15. It's marked on the bottom of the picture.
June 12th, 2025, around 3:16 p.m. on that day, right?
Correct.
And explain to the jury what we're looking at. What do those lines represent?
Essentially, the bigger dots represent cell phone towers. The arcs are going to be sectors of that cell phone tower. And that arc is actually the line of where that phone can be found at that time. Essentially, this cell phone sends a signal to the tower, and when it comes back, it essentially divides that by two to give us the distance. It can't tell us exactly where it's at. It just tells it's on that arc within that sector.
Which was my next question. Could a location be pinpointed? You've answered that. It doesn't give you an exact location, but it's fair to say it gives you an area between towers
Correct.
of where that cell phone would be at a particular given
Yes, sir.
time. And in this case, at 3:16 p.m. on June the 12th of 2025, cell phone data or towers indicate that cell phone was in the downtown area.
Correct.
Now I'd like to move on to state's exhibit number 70. And before we start talking about 70, why does state's exhibit 70 look different from the map in state 69?
It's just the version I chose to use, whether it was a satellite view or a roadway view. I was aware that this offense occurred on East Texas Freeway, so I didn't necessarily need all the different buildings or anything like that.
Again, orient the jury as to like landmarks or roadways that we're looking at.
This is going to be the north end of Beaumont, the LNBA Canal, where East Texas Freeway crosses it, and of course Tram Road up at the north. Just north of Tram will be the city limits of Beaumont going into Harlem.
Are you familiar with that Mulligan's golf course? It's just off of East Texas. Are you familiar with that?
Enough. I mean, I'm aware of it.
Well,
Been there.
I know that's a good point. If you know, could you give us a general area of where that golf course would be on the map?
It's gonna be in this area here.
Okay, just before you get to Tram Road.
Yes, sir.
So This map represents the same day as the previous map, June 12th, 2025, but it's a little later, correct? About
Yes, sir.
4:04 p.m. Is that what you're showing?
Correct.
Okay. So states 69 shows at 3:16 p.m. one that same day. That cell phone was in downtown Beaumont. State 70, fair to say, shows that around 4:04 p.m. that cell phone was pinging off towers up near the East Tex Freeway and tram area, correct?
Correct.
Did you prepare a supplement detailing your involvement in this case?
I did.
And did you review that prior to testifying here today?
I did.
Very good. Thank you, Detective. Thanks for being here. Press with the church.
Thank you, Mr. Burbank.
Good morning again.
Morning.
Detective, of course, I have questions for you.
Yes, sir.
When did you prepare States Exhibits 70 and 69?
I believe it was in April of this year.
April this year.
Yes, sir.
Did you do that in anticipation of trial?
No, I did that at a request to the case agent,
And who was? Do you-
Detective Josh Jackson.
And so I want to go first to States Exhibit 69, which is downtown. Okay. What you can testify to, well, start with that. The cell phone towers, how many cell phone towers are downtown that can give you similar information?
With respect to these records, those cell towers that are noted on the map,
What I'm talking about, are there other cell phone towers that can be used for location in the downtown area?
oh, yes, sir.
About how many are there, just roughly?
I don't know. There are many towers in Beaumont. And each cell phone company rents space off of certain towers. So you might have multiple companies on one tower.
The program that you use, does it select the towers in reference to the information that you put in? For instance, you had information from Verizon. It's not a trick question. You had information from Verizon in reference to a certain telephone, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You put that into your program
Yes.
to see if you can get locations. Does that program then determine which towers have that information?
It's a depiction of the data given by Verizon. So whatever cell tower it shows that it hit is based off of the information given by Verizon.
Could other towers have that same information?
No.
Okay, so that was specific for what the information you had from Verizon. Those are the towers that were selected,
Those were the towers that device connected with.
that they connected with. You
Yes.
didn't have any input on that.
No.
Okay. How many quadrants are there from the tower?
3.
Three? And how many quadrants, for instance, does this reflect from this tower?
1.
One? Okay, so it's divided up into three to make a full circle.
Correct.
And then in the same input, you had information from this tower, correct?
Correct.
And there again, what quadrant was that from? Or that, you didn't. Can I assume then the lines would come down to this, this point?
I'm not sure what you're asking.
There's
Those
no
are two
connecting
separate
pi-
towers.
Yeah, I know, but there's no connecting pi lines from that point to the arc. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So if you take the end of your arc and if you were to have drawn a line back to the point.
The arc is the sector of the cell tower.
You said this was at 316 to 317, correct?
Correct.
Do you know when that vehicle moved?
From downtown,
Yeah.
I have no knowledge about the vehicle moving.
There was a prior testimony that this cell phone was at an appointment at 3:30 in the afternoon, which is after 3:17 by 13 minutes. You
Yes,
don't have any information.
Yes, sir, I don't.
You don't have any information of whether or not that appointment or whether or not that cell phone left 20 or 15 minutes afterwards or 30 minutes afterwards.
That's right. I have no information on that.
Somehow between this time of 3:17 and I'm gonna put up State's Exhibit number 770 at 4:04, okay? Did you ever have information from other cell towers of how that vehicle got from downtown Beaumont up to East Tex Freeway by Tram Road?
I have no information on how the vehicle went anywhere. There's cell tower records for a cell phone that traversed from downtown Beaumont to the north part of Beaumont.
Okay, and do you know where those cell phone towers were located, or did you have that information to show possibly a travel?
Yes,
Right, and do you know which way that vehicle or that cell phone traveled?
I do not. When the information was provided to me, I was given the time and location of the offense and the appointment.
But there's no information that you have right now
No,
that says which way, how did that cell phone get from downtown Beaumont up to the north end of Beaumont?
that's right. I don't have that.
Okay. There was also testimony, and I'm going to now show you. Oh, strike that. So you can't tell or testify whether or not that cell phone was at Gladys or Delaware on East Tex Freeway sometime prior to this incident.
No. I'm sorry, what intersection did you say?
Gladys, Delaware, and East Tex Freeway. That's the interchange at I-10 and 16.
Okay, because Gladys doesn't intersect East Tex Freeway.
But if there was testimony that said it started on East Tex Freeway between Gladys and Delaware, you're not going to argue, are you?
No.
Okay. And Gladys does go down to I-10 at the interchange.
I-10, yes, but not East Tex.
Right at the. There's information you pointed here that this is the golf course, the range.
Yes, sir.
Chin's Road is also there, correct?
Further north, yes.
Further north?
Further north of the golf course.
Okay, over and here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, but within the pie.
Yes.
Okay. And if there was information that that's where the car was located at some apartments, that would coincide with that, correct?
Correct.
Were you working this case?
No,
Did you go to the scene?
no,
The only thing that involvement you had, detective, was you were asked to take the data that was given to you from Verizon and see if you could give some type of relevant area where their cell phone might be.
yes,
Other than that, nothing else.
nothing else.
That's it. Pass the witness, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Coleman.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Any objection to Detective Llewellyn being excused?
No, Judge.
Thank you, sir. You're excused. You may call your next witness.
State of Detective Ryan Flanagan.
Good morning. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give in this trial will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. You can have a seat. You may proceed.
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning, Detective. Would you please state your full name for the court reporter and the ladies and gentlemen of the jury?
My name is Ryan Flanagan.
Detective Flanagan, how are you employed, sir?
I'm with the Beaumont Police Department,
How long have you been with VPD?
a little over 14 years.
Okay, and certified peace officer, correct?
Yes, sir.
And specialized training? If you have any.
Currently, I work as a detective in the special crimes unit. So,
All right, very good. I want to take you back to, no, you had a limited role or limited involvement in this particular case, correct?
yes, sir, that's correct.
In fact, that role consisted of two things. Showing a photo lineup to the victim in this case and sitting in on a witness interview for a Atlanta gallows, is it fair to say?
That's correct, yes.
Let's talk about the photo lineup.
Okay.
I'm sure the ladies and gentlemen of the jury have some notion of what a photo lineup is from TV, but could you give them an idea of the way it is presented in real life by the BPD?
The way that we do it is there'll be six photos, and they're all going to be in separate pages, separate folders. It's not like one page with 6 pictures on it. The lineup is generally assembled by the lead detective or somebody that's very involved in the case that knows who the defendant suspect is, and then is given off to somebody that had no involvement in the case. That was me in this case. I did not know who the defendant was in this case. I just have 6 different folders with photos in it. And the purpose of that is to prevent even me from knowing who the person in the lineup is.
And why is that?
Just so that nobody can say that there's any, that we're hinting at a photo more. I don't know who the person in the lineup is any more than anybody else that wouldn't know the person.
And was such a photo lineup put together in this particular case?
Yes, there was.
And was it presented to the victim, in this case, a Hunter Freeman?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And you were the person that presented that photo lineup, correct?
That's correct.
And did the victim, but before the victim made an identification, did the victim narrow it down to 2 of the subjects, I should say, in the photos?
Yes, he narrowed it down to 2 of the photos.
And with one of the 2 photos, do you see an individual in the courtroom here today that resembles one of those 2 photos? And if you need to refer to the photos, by all means.
Yes, sir. It was photo number 5 was one of the ones that he had tentatively said that is the defendant in the courtroom today.
Could you point to him and identify an article of clothing he's wearing?
And the button-up shirt right there behind the table. No glasses.
The glasses?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I asked the record reflect that the witness has identified the defendant, Asa Joseph Jones.
The record will so record.
Now, after narrowing it down between those 2 individuals, did the victim ultimately make a decision or pick someone out of that lineup?
He did. Yes.
And was it someone other than the defendant?
Yes, sir. It was somebody else.
Okay. But it was one of the 2 that he narrowed it down to. Right?
Yes.
I guess maybe for record purposes, I need to mark both of those photos and put them in the evidence. Now, of course, the witness.
Sure.
It was these 2, number 1 and number 5.
Okay. I am going to mark what you're referring to as number 1 as State's Exhibit number 71. And I'll mark what you're referring to as State's as number 5 as State's 72. And I'll hand you these. Do you recognize these photos from the photos maintained in your records as individuals whose photographs were presented during that lineup?
Yes, they're the same.
Okay. And they're the same. You answered my next question. They don't appear to be altered or changed in any way?
No, they don't.
Fair depictions of the photos that you showed to that victim on that day.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
And Your Honor, at this time, State offers States 71 and 72. They were previously providing discovery.
No objections to state 71, 72.
71 and 72 are admitted.
Commissioner Post, Judge.
Yes, sir.
Let's start with State's Exhibit number 71 here. This was the person that's ultimately Hunter Freeman identified. And is it fair to say that's not the defendant?
That's correct.
State's Exhibit number 72, that's one of the individuals that the victim, Hunter Freeman, narrowed it down to. And is that the individual that you pointed out here in the courtroom today?
Yes, sir. That is.
Asa Jones, right?
Yes.
Now, in your training and experience, individuals under stressful situations that happen in a split second, is it uncommon for them to misidentify individuals in a photo line?
It's not uncommon. No, sir.
Okay. let's talk about the next, your involvement, excuse me. Let's talk about your involvement in the interview of in Atlanta Gallo. Is it fair to say that you were just sitting in on an interview?
That's correct.
Another detective was actually conducting the interview, questioning the subject.
Yes, that's correct. I didn't have prior involvement in the case.
A subject being an individual, a female by the name of Atlanta Gallo, correct?
Yes.
And while you weren't conducting the interview, you were able to see and hear the interaction between the detective that was asking the questions and Miss Gallo answering the questions, right?
Yes.
Now, I'm not going to get into what she said, but what I want to know from you is in your training and experience, how would you characterize her responses?
No, I'm going to object because it's based on hearsay.
I'm not listening to her say.
Her responses is oral.
I'm asking.
Hold one at a time.
I'm sorry. Her responses are oral, voice, and so it's based on hearsay, anything that he's going to try to interpret.
I'm asking about the manner in which she responded to those questions and the opinion that he formed from that manner.
Overruled.
How would you characterize the manner in which she responded to those questions?
As though she was trying to conceal information. There were questions that were asked that she did not answer.
Thank you, Detective Fang, and I'll pass the motion.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Goldman. Mr. Burbank?
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
In reference to the last question, did you prepare a report in reference to your observations of Miss Gallo?
No, sir. There was no report prepared in the ARPA system.
And I know that you slept since then and done many things.
Right.
And so you didn't prepare any report at all saying that she was trying to conceal that, that was your perception, right? And not answer questions.
Are you asking if that was about perception? Yes, that was about perception this time.
No. Okay. Did you bring your reports with you?
I have a copy of the lineup, which is.
Can I just see what you have?
Yes, sir.
Please? Okay.
That's.
If you could take a look at that. You testified that they picked out, or the person that was there was Hunter Freeman, the complainant, correct?
Yes, sir.
And his mom,
Yes.
correct? And you said that they picked out photo number 5 and number 1.
Yes. Narrowed down to those two
Okay.
initially.
And approximately what time on June 13th? This happened on June 13th,
Mhm.
right? The day after the incident.
Yes.
Approximately what time did it happen? Was it the afternoon, morning?
I do remember it was in the afternoon. I can't recall the time. And Detective Jackson had prepared this form, and I see the time slot on there. So
Well, I see a form that was provided. It says photographic lineup form.
okay, is that this one?
Yes.
Okay.
And did you prepare that?
No, Detective Jackson prepared the form.
Okay. And whose writing is that?
As far as the names and all that, that's going to be Detective Jackson. I wrote the mother, Miss Freeman. I wrote her name down because she was on the room.
And you were the lineup administrator.
That is correct.
And that's your name, Detective Flanagan, on that?
That is
report?
correct.
Now, based on that report, there were 6 photographs, correct?
There were.
2.
Yes.
And this report was done at or near the time or at the time that the photo lineup was presented to Hunter Freeman. Is that correct?
I'm not sure when Detective Jackson prepared it. I just used it once I got to the hospital to administer it.
Okay, so this was done at the hospital.
Yes, it was.
Was the other detective there at the hospital?
He was outside the room. He wasn't in the room when the lineup was being administered.
Did you all communicate together?
Yes, we did.
Okay, you all discussed what the results were.
After the
in reference
fact,
to the
yes.
lineup.
Yes.
Can you take a look at the Beaumont Police Department photographic lineup form? And that's the only
Yes.
form you have there.
It is. Yes.
Can you show me, or does that form say anything about photo number 5?
No, it does not.
And photo number 5 is what you're talking, is this is State's Exhibit number 72, is what you purport to be Asa Jones, is that correct?
That's correct.
But there's nothing in that report or photo lineup when it was shown indicating anything
Mm.
that photo number 5 was identified, correct?
On this form, no, sir.
Okay. And in fact, the only one you would agree with me that was indicated that the party, which was Hunter, identified the person was in photograph number 1, correct?
That's what he ultimately identified, yes, sir.
And photograph number 1 was state's exhibit number 71, is that correct?
That's correct.
That's that individual there. And you would agree, or does the records reflect that it wasn't 100%, but it was only about 70% sure?
That's what the victim reported, yes, sir.
Did you administer the lineup, detective?
I did.
And this is the only report that was generated on June 13th of 2020.
That's correct.
No other report, you didn't generate any other report?
No, sir.
Did you understand my questions? Is that correct? Did you understand my questions?
Yes, I did.
Anything you want to change? Like I confused you or anything like that?
Not that I can
No,
comment on.
okay, very good. Good to see you.
You know,
Pass the witness, Judge.
Thank you. Anything else, Mr. Coleman?
No, Judge.
Any objection to Detective Flanagan being excused?
No, Your Honor.
No, it's just a little.
Thank you, Detective. And
Thank
you're
you.
placed under the rule, and you know what that means.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Mr. Coleman, you may call your next witness.
It's state called Atlanta Gallo.
Good morning. Would you please raise your right hand? You swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give in this trial will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes,
All right, have a seat. And Ms. Gallo, if you'll take that microphone, kind of pull it as close as you can. Make sure when you're answering the questions that you answered loudly and clearly into the microphone so everybody can hear you. Also, if it's a yes or a no question, be sure to say yes or no, not just a head nod or an so the court reporter can take everything down. All right, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Would you please state your full name for the court reporter?
Atlanta Monday Gallo.
And that's Atlanta, like the city, right?
Yeah,
Gallo spelled Gallo.
yeah,
How old of an individual are you, Miss Gallo?
I'm 22.
22?
Mhm.
And this is not the first time that you and I have seen each other, is it?
No,
In fact, we saw each other last week, right?
yeah,
When I subpoenaed you to court, correct?
yeah,
And when you stood in front of this judge and this judge told you to show up for trial, right?
yeah,
This judge told you to show up for trial on the day and at the time the district attorney's office directed you to do so, correct?
yeah.
Did you follow the judge's instructions?
No,
In fact, my investigator reached out to you on Monday of this week and told you to be here Tuesday morning, correct?
yeah,
Were you here on Tuesday morning?
no,
Did you tell my investigator that you had no intention of showing up?
no.
Okay, what did you tell him?
I told him where I was and that I couldn't make it down here.
You told him you were in another city, right?
Yeah,
And did you give him an opportunity or our office an opportunity to make you or provide you transportation to be here?
well, I asked them about it. They was basically said that they didn't do nothing.
Now, I want to
Cause
be
I
clear.
let them know.
Yes, ma'am. To be clear, my investigator's here, and if need be, he can testify about his version of that conversation. But I'll move on. The long and short of it is, you really don't want to be here, do you?
I mean, I have to.
No, that's not my question. Yes or no? You really don't want to be here, do you?
No,
But nevertheless, we have you here today. And as part of the investigation in this case, you did two things. One, you had a series of a number of telephone calls with investigators on the phone regarding this case, right?
not really that many. No,
Let me ask it this way. You had at least 3 phone calls with an investigator or investigators in this case, yes or no?
I honestly don't remember. I know it was that much done.
All right. Let me say this, Ms. Gallo, we can get through this a lot easier if your memory is better, and I get it. If you don't recall, then you don't recall. But I want you to understand that I've got the files, I've got the reports, I've read it all. I've looked at
Yeah,
it
I'm
all.
gonna object to this.
I'll move on.
Answering the question, I object to the badgering.
I'll
Go
move on.
ahead.
Yes, ma'am. But is it your testimony that you don't recall how many times you talked on the phone with investigators?
Yes.
What about physically coming in for an interview? Did you at least come in on one occasion for an interview?
Yes.
Okay. You talked to investigators on that day?
Yes.
Okay. Did you tell investigators that you own a white Jeep Compass?
Yes.
In fact, I'm showing you what's already been admitted into evidence as state, may I approach with the show?
Yes, sir.
As states exhibits 41, 42, and 43 are these photographs of your white Jeep Compass.
Yes.
With the license plate number VSV 61. And if there was testimony that your identification card was found inside of that Jeep Compass, you wouldn't deny or dispute that, would you?
No.
In fact, I'm showing you what's marked as state's exhibit number 52. Is this your driver's license here?
Yes.
All right. Your driver's license was in that vehicle because it's your vehicle, right?
Yes.
All right. And back on June the 12th of 2025, you let someone drive your vehicle that day, didn't you?
Yes.
And initially, you told law enforcement that your brother was the one driving that vehicle. that day.
I'm gonna object to leading.
I am leading. I can ask it a different way. I'm just trying to get to a judge. I'll rephrase the question.
Yeah, rephrase it. If we get to an issue with regard to her being a hostile witness, then I'll allow that, but let's try it the other way.
Yes, ma'am.
Sustained.
Who did you initially tell law enforcement was driving your vehicle on June the 12th of 2025?
But when I know what's going on, I'll say my brother on the phone.
So you initially told law enforcement that your brother was using your vehicle on June the 12th of 2025. Was that true or was that a lie?
No, it wasn't true.
It was not true. That's your answer, right?
Yes.
And if it's not true, that would make it a lie, right?
Yes.
So you initially lied to law enforcement, right?
Yes.
But then you changed it. And then who did you tell law enforcement was using your vehicle on June the 12th of 2025?
I just told him somebody I was talking to. I never said a name.
Somebody that you were talking to. For those of us, we just want to make sure we're clear. For those of us, if somebody's in the dark on that, I just want to make sure we understand. If you to say you're talking to that person, does that mean you're in a dating relationship with that person?
Something like that.
Okay. Do you see the person in the room today that you are quote unquote talking to, or in something like a dating relationship?
Yes.
Could you point to that person, please, and identify his article of clothing that he's wearing?
A gray shirt.
Could you point to him so we all know who you're talking about? Sitting here with the glasses?
Yes.
I ask, Your Honor, that the record reflect that the witness has identified the defendant.
Record will so reflect.
Now, when law enforcement asks you several times during those phone calls the name of the person that you were talking to or in a dating relationship, the name for this defendant, at any point during those phone calls did you give them the name?
No.
In fact, you refused to give them the name, right?
Yes.
When law enforcement initially asked you if you lived at the Azure Point Apartments, they're off of Chin Road, you initially told them yes, didn't you?
No.
If there is a recorded video of you on the phone saying yes in response to a question whether or not you live in Azure Point Apartments, that would be false or incorrect video.
I don't remember saying I lived at that. I told them where I stayed.
Is it your testimony that you didn't say it, or is it your testimony that you don't remember saying it?
I don't remember. I know I told them where I lived though.
Is it your testimony that you never said you lived at the Azure Point Apartments?
I don't remember.
When they initially asked you for your brother's name, did you initially give them your brother's name?
Yes.
The first time you asked for it?
When was the first time? I thought it was when I went up there.
No.
I thought, oh,
I'm talking about I'm sorry.
I don't remember. I think at that point I asked him what was going on.
But you initially, when they asked for his name, is it your testimony that you gave it to him or you didn't give it to him the first time?
I really don't remember. I know I gave it to him when I talked to him when I went up there.
Did you tell law enforcement that the way you found out about what was going on with your vehicle was because, quote, your old man called you from Azure Point Apartments? Did you tell law enforcement that?
I told him I got a call when I was at work.
From who?
I don't know where from.
If the video shows that you told him it was your old man calling from the Azure Point Apartments, would that video be false or correct?
I don't remember saying, I know I told him I called him when I got a call when I was at work. I don't remember saying it's your point.
Did you go to tell law enforcement you went to Azure Point to get the keys back?
Yes,
And did you tell law enforcement when they asked you what apartment you went to get the keys back, that you couldn't give them the apartment number because your old man met you outside? Did you tell them that?
yeah, I didn't know what number it was.
I get that, but did you tell them your quote unquote old
I
man
did.
met you outside?
Yes,
And your old man or old dude that you're referring to would be the defendant?
yes.
Now, when they asked you for the defendant's cell phone number, you gave them the number of 409-499-5382, correct?
I just gave him a number from my phone.
Would it surprise you to know that law enforcement contacted him on a different cell phone number?
I don't know.
Would it surprise you to know they contacted him on a 409-554-5653 phone number?
Never heard of it.
Okay. Were you completely honest with law enforcement?
Yes,
Is that a yes? If we were to look at that video, either from the recorded phone calls or from your in-person interview, there wouldn't be anything that you were not completely forthcoming about?
no, mostly I was telling him that I didn't know, which is the truth.
But you did tell him your brother was driving it and he wasn't driving it that day, right?
No,
Pass it, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Tillman. Mr. Burbank?
Ms. Gallo, do you know who I am?
not really.
Never met you, right?
No.
Never talked to you.
No,
Okay. You didn't want to be involved, did you?
no,
You didn't want to get anyone else in trouble, did you?
no.
How long had you been talking to Asa?
Just a while.
Well, what's
I
it?
don't know specifics, to be honest with you.
Just talking to him?
Yeah,
How did he come about getting your car that day? Did he ask you to use it?
yes,
Okay. And you were working.
yes.
And where were you working at the time?
A creative learning center.
What is that?
It's a daycare.
It's a daycare. Okay. And he was using it.
Mm-hmm.
How many other people used that car that you allowed? Do you let your brother use it?
Sometimes.
Huh?
Sometimes.
Sometimes? Okay. You didn't really know what was going on, did you?
No.
Did law enforcement tell you that somebody had been shot?
Yes, when I went up there.
That there was an incident with your car and some gunshots were fired and somebody was injured?
Yes.
You didn't know any part of it, did you? You had nothing to do with it. On State's Exhibit number 52, may I approach, Judge?
Yes, sir.
Was this your current driver's license that had March 25 of 25? Was that,
Yeah, my birthday?
yeah, was that yours?
Yeah.
It seems like it was expired. Because this happened in June 12th of 25.
No,
So, well, if this says this was good until March 25 of 25, 2025. Or was it issued? Oh, it was issued till, was that your birthday?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it said that under 21.
Mhm.
So this was your driver's license
Yeah.
and you left it there, right?
Mhm.
It says, but my point being is, you said it was at 1425 Cottonwood Street. Is that where you were living?
At that time, no.
At that time, you
That's
weren't?
when I got the license.
On the apartments where the car was found, did you ever live there?
No,
You haven't had any conversation with Asa after
no.
this incident, right?
Mhm.
And you were just afraid of what happened.
Yes, I didn't know what happened.
You didn't know what happened. They never accused you of doing anything, did they? Just the car came back to you, right?
Yes,
Did you ever get your car back?
yes, I did.
Still have it?
Yes.
Nothing further, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Burbank. Anything else, Mr. Coleman?
Just a brief follow-up question to Judge, Ms. Gallo, defense counsel asked you that, about the incident and that eventually you were informed that it was an incident involving a shooting. Were you aware more specifically that this defendant is accused of shooting somebody in the face?
Now or before?
Are you aware today? Yeah.
Accused of, yeah.
Pass those, Judge.
Thank you. Anything else?
Back then you didn't know, did you?
No,
Nothing further, Judge.
All right. Any objection to Ms. Gallo being excused?
No, Judge.
No,
Ms. Gallo, you can step back out. May I call your next witness?
State calls Augustine Palomores.
Officer Palomores was already sworn. You can have a seat, sir. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, officer.
Morning,
Please state your full name for the court reporter and for the jury.
Officer Augustine Palomares.
And Officer Palomores, how are you employed, sir?
What was the question again?
I know, sometimes I talk kind of fast. I get admonished sometimes about court reporter about that. How are you employed, sir?
I'm employed with the city of Beaumont.
All right. How long have you been with BPD?
It'll be 10 years in January.
All right. And I just want to fast forward and really get to the heart of my questions here. You interviewed or at least had telephone conversations with an individual by the name of Atlanta Gallo, correct?
Yes, sir, I did.
And during at least one of those telephone conversations, was she asked if she lived at the Azure Point Apartments?
Yes, sir.
And did she respond? Yes, she did, at least initially.
Yes, sir.
If she took the stand today and said that she never told you or law enforcement that, would that be true or would that be false?
If she said no, that would be false.
Yes. Those, how many telephone conversations did you have with her initially, early on in the investigation, if you recall?
So I tried calling her while I was on scene when I found the located vehicle. Somebody answered the phone. They didn't say anything, hung up. And they called me back later that evening. I think at that time it was about three phone calls, I believe.
And really, all I want to do is focus on whether or not she lived at the Azure Point Apartments. I don't want to drill down too deep on this and we get distracted. But I mean, were there other things that she either backtracked on or changed or refused to answer during your interaction with her?
Yes, sir. So like I said, in the evening when she called me back, so I got straight to it. I was like, "Hey, is this your car?" She said, "Yes." Like, "Hey, who's driving your car?" Initially, she said, "Brother." And he like, "But it was my brother," and left it at my house. And I'm like, "Okay, it's your house at a SurePoint Apartments?" She said yes. And then she retracted, like, "Never mind, my boyfriend didn't want to provide no information."
And the bottom line is, I'm not trying to get full testimony from you about the extent of that conversation. I'm just trying to push back or rebut some of the false, at least a couple of the false things that she said, one of which involves the Azure Point Apartment complex and whether or not she was linked to earlier there. That conversation or conversations, was it recorded using your body-worn camera device that day?
Yes, sir.
And your body-worn camera, you have no reason to believe it was not properly functioning that day?
No reason for that.
In fact, may I approach the witness, Judge?
You may.
This USB drive contains those 3 separate phone calls that you had with her? Is that fair to say?
Yes, sir.
And how do you know this is that USB drive?
I reviewed that earlier.
It's signified by your initials and today's date?
Correct.
All right. But for certain redactions we've made for the purposes of this trial, do you have any reasons to believe that this has been otherwise altered or manipulated?
No, sir.
All right, Judge, at this time, I'd offer states 73, specifically for the purposes of rebutting the false testimony or misleading testimony of the witness Atlanta Gary. This has been previously turned over to discovery.
I'm going to object to the other things on that exhibit as hearsay.
For now, Judge, what I'd like to do is just fast forward to that specific part about the living at the apartment. I don't intend to play anything else on that video.
Well, I don't want anything else admitted.
I see.
So you can go ahead. I will sustain the objection except for the limited part with regard to whichever recording that's on and that specific part of it. And then on a break, we can make sure and get a recording of just that part. Okay. So, you know where it is and on which one to be able to fast forward to it.
I may need to kind of listen to it first on my laptop, just to make sure that I pick the right, it shouldn't take me long, the right video of the 3.
Okay.
Shouldn't take that long.
Is there a way just for the record to identify, is it call number 1, 2, and 3 or?
I will.
Thanks.
For the record, it is the got the long title there. It's the video that's marked Axon Body 3 Video 2025-06-12-1841 X60A-B036G .MP4. Essentially, the distinguishing feature from those other 2 videos is the middle number 1841. The other 2 have 1915, 1926.
Got it.
Looks
Thank
like they're
you.
all the same.
Got it.
But for those 3 middle numbers.
Got it. Thank you.
Purposes of the record, I fast forwarded to about 57 seconds into the video.
Do you live in a True Point?
Oh, yes, sir.
What was her response when you had asked her, for the record, I stopped it at 1 minute and 4 seconds into what did you ask her?
Did she live at a Sure Point?
And what was her response?
Yes, sir. Accept response.
I think that's all the questions I have, Judge, from this witness.
Thank you, Mr. Coleman. Mr. Burbank.
Good morning.
Morning.
How you been?
Can't complain.
That's what I say. I have some questions for you, sir.
Yes, sir.
You were one of the first ones on the scene, correct?
Correct.
And you were part of the investigation. In fact, in that short video, I saw that you didn't even have a uniform on. You had a t-shirt on, correct?
Correct.
What were you working that time, or what division were you working on?
Special assignment unit, which plainclothes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And so you showed up, and you and your partners or other law enforcement showed up.
Right.
Prior to today, did you take a look at your report to refresh your memory?
I looked at it yesterday when I got a call about this.
Do you have a copy of your report? with
I
you?
do.
If you need to refresh your memory,
Yes,
take
sir.
This happened about 1600 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon on the 12th, correct? And you kind of knew who and what who you were looking for and trying to track down by the time you left the scene, correct? And let me rephrase that.
Yes, sir.
The car was located at the apartments on Chin, correct?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Okay, and then y'all went over there and you were trying to find who the driver possibly was.
Yes, sir.
You did find, or you did get information reference to the possible owner of the car, correct?
Correct.
And that was Miss Gallo.
Correct.
And somehow you got her phone number or cell phone number.
Yes, sir.
How roughly, and I'm not telling you, how did you get her phone number?
If I remember correctly, I ran the plate on my police vehicle.
Okay.
Obviously, the registered owner, and then I ran her.
And then so it came through whatever online. You can find everything online nowadays, correct?
It'll be, yeah, or
Okay. there was much to do in reference to Miss Gallo. Miss Gallo doesn't have anything to do with this, except it was her car involved in this incident, correct?
My belief, yes, sir.
No other charges, to your knowledge, have been filed against Miss Gallo.
Correct.
Okay. You tried to call her sometime in that afternoon, correct?
Correct.
And and when you attempted to try to call, it appeared that someone would answer and hang up,
Correct.
right?
Sir.
When you called, was it your name that would appear on the phone, or was it Beaumont PD, or was it unknown? You know, the name, when
Yes, sir.
somebody calls you, you kind of,
I know, I don't know, honestly, it's, the city department's cell phone, so most likely probably the city
Unknown.
of, yes, sir, I don't know.
unknown.
Unknown.
Because you don't want to broadcast, hey, the police are calling you.
Yes, sir.
Just usually, you're probably not going to get an answer, right?
I don't know, to be honest, sometimes they do answer, sometimes no, so I really don't know what it pop up in the
But you feel that it was unknown.
most likely,
And during this period of time in the afternoon or early evening, you made several attempts and hung. It appears somebody was hanging up.
yes, sir.
Okay. But later on in the evening, this same evening, you did receive a phone call, right?
I did, yes, sir.
And was that phone call from Miss Gallo?
Yes, sir.
And it was on the same phone that you tried to call her on, your city phone.
Believe so, I don't recall exactly, you know.
You can take your report out now, approach that
Yes,
to help refresh your memory.
yes, sir.
If you could just look and let me show you where I'm gonna have questions. It's this slide there. And where I am.
Okay.
Okay, so if you look at it, you could use some. So you did know that you received a phone call from Miss Gallo on your city phone.
Correct,
And that's the same phone that you used earlier that day, correct?
yes, sir.
And when you spoke to Miss Gallo, did she say she was working?
She did say she was working.
So she was working and, well, I mean, she might not have been able to receive phone calls, right?
Right.
But she told you where she was working, and that was Creative Learning Center on Calder, correct?
Yes, sir.
And if there was testimony that said that that's where she was working at the time, that kind of matches up to what you wrote down during that time.
Yes, sir.
And she said that's the reasons for the missed phone call. Did you note that this gal said the reason why she couldn't answer because she was working?
Yes, sir.
You did ask her about the Jeep, right?
Yes, sir.
And she advised you that her brother was driving it, correct?
Correct.
And that she had left it at her residence.
Correct.
Okay, so she left her Jeep in possession of her brother.
Correct.
Did you ever follow up of whether or not her brother was actually driving that car that day while she was at work prior to this incident?
No, sir, I did not.
So do you know of anybody in your agency, that possibly would determine whether or not somebody else possibly was driving it before? This is Asa, right?
Gotcha.
Okay, I mean, you're familiar with Asa Jones, right? And this incident. Okay, is that a yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
Whether or not he was with the brother at one time,
I know I forwarded all the information to detectives. Can't say anything. I'm
but
sure.
you can't remember. Fair enough. She asked where, that if you lived at Azura Point Apartments, and she said yes, right?
Right.
Who actually lived at the apartments? And I'm going to back up. Do you know how that vehicle, and when I say that vehicle, it is, I'll show you what has been entered in as States Exhibit 4042 and 45. This is the vehicle in question, right?
Yes, sir.
So did you ever ascertain how this vehicle ended up at those apartments?
I did not. No, sir.
Okay. Somebody must have stayed there or knew somebody that stayed there, right?
Yes, sir. Oh,
Do you know whether or not at the time she possibly could have been staying there if the old dude or the boyfriend or the old man or whatever it was possibly was staying there?
I don't know. I wouldn't know.
she stated that did Miss Gallo give you another address that she claimed possibly that she lived at?
Yes, sir.
And was that on Folsom Road?
Yes, sir.
And she continued to talk to you, did she not?
Yes, sir.
And sometime during the conversation, the phone either dropped or she hung up.
Correct.
But you were disconnected,
Yes, sir.
okay? And I guess, did you try to call her back?
I did
Yeah, but it was kept on going to voicemail.
for a while. Yes, sir. Then-
Okay. And then, would you agree with me, because it appears from the questioning that prior that you were being asked, that she was trying to avoid trying to talk to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But a few minutes after that you couldn't get her, she called you back, did she not?
I don't recall if she called me back or I called her.
If you would, I approach Judge.
Yes.
You.
She called me back.
She called you
Yes,
back?
sir. She did.
Okay. So she didn't like ignore you or anything, but she called you back saying, hey, I mean, I guess whatever happened, and so she called you back again.
Yes, sir. She did.
If you were trying to avoid somebody, you wouldn't call them back, would you? Especially a police officer, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then she said, hey, her old dude, and we know it was a boyfriend, it was not the old man, but I guess she said the old dude, was driving the Jeep, and that the vehicle, that her brother was not in the vehicle, right? So you knew that evening at some point that the driver was probably Asa Jones.
You know the boyfriend. I don't know who was the boyfriend. I guess.
Okay.
So,
And instead of saying the old man, she said the old dude.
so
Okay. Did you note that when you talked to Gallo, she started to refuse to provide any information?
yes, sir.
And she didn't want to identify her brother or her boyfriend or her apartment at Asa Point Apartments where you found this, correct?
Correct.
That's not uncommon, is it?
Not really. We
No.
don't want to talk to police.
People don't want to talk to police officers, right? People don't want to get involved. I mean, you see that all the time.
Correct.
I mean, you may have an eyewitness, hypothetically, you may have an eyewitness, and I'm not talking to the police. I just don't want to get involved, right? So this really wasn't out of the ordinary. But you were trying to do your job,
Yes, sir.
and you were trying to find out who was involved in this, correct?
Correct.
And then what you did was you passed on the information to Detective Jackson, who was part of the investigation with Beaumont PD, right?
Yes, sir.
And said that, hey, I contacted her and I gave him your phone number or whatever it is to contact you later on. Do you know whether or not there was any conversation later on between Detective Jackson and Miss Gallo?
I do not know. No, sir.
We do know whenever it was, Miss Gallo eventually was down at the police department. Were you aware of that, to be talked to or interrogated?
No, sir. I was not.
You did not? Okay, so if there was information that says that she wasn't arrested, I guess, so she voluntarily came down or whatever. She came down to talk to the police. Whether it was fruitful or not, you didn't have any knowledge of
I
that.
did not.
So she gave an explanation that evening to you when you're trying to attempt to call her that she was working at the time, right?
Correct.
And that she did call you back when the phone had gone dead once or several times, correct?
Correct.
And then when you started asking more questions, she said, I really don't want to give you any more information. I really don't want to talk to you anymore, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And she was never arrested for anything in reference to this incident.
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. Questions that I asked, anything that you want to change your answers to, sir?
No, sir.
No confusion, nothing like that. It's not a trick
Yeah,
question. No confusion that you want to change, like, oh, let me clarify something or whatever.
No, sir.
And you prepared a report on reference to this on or about the time of the incident.
Yes, sir.
Good seeing you again. Passive witness subject to recording.
Thank you, Mr. Burbank. Anything else, Mr. Coleman?
No, Judge.
Any objection to Officer Pelham Harris being excused?
No, Judge.
Thank you, sir. You're excused. Mr. Coleman, you may call your next witness.
State cost, Hunter Freeman.
And Mr. Freeman was not previously sworn, correct?
No, Judge.
Mr. Freeman, if you'll please step there and raise your right hand. You swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give in this trial will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. You can have a seat. And if you'll just kind of pull that microphone and you're gonna need to speak into it as loud as you can so everybody can hear you. I know it's an uncomfortable position to be in.
Yes, ma'am.
Also, make sure if it's a yes or a no question to answer yes or no and not just a head nod or an so the court reporter can take everything down.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Hunter. Will you please state your full name for the court reporter and the ladies and gentlemen of the jury?
Hunter Allen Carl Freeman.
I'm sorry, do me a favor, speak up a little louder so I can hear you.
Hunter Allen Carl Freeman.
Hunter Allen Paul Freeman. And Hunter, how old of an individual are you?
23.
And what city do you reside in?
Beaumont.
Have you lived in Beaumont all your life?
Yes, sir.
And are you employed?
Yes, sir.
What type of work do you do?
Retail.
Okay, so work in retail. What I'd like to do, take you back to June the 12th of 2025 at around 4 a.m. Were you in your vehicle that day, that day and that time?
Yes, sir.
That vehicle being a blue Chevrolet Suburban?
Yes, sir.
And where were you traveling? Where were you traveling around the time?
My girlfriend's house in Warren.
Okay. What roadway or freeway were you using?
I-10.
You know, when you say I-10, and I've made the same mistake myself, confusing I-10 with the East Texas Freeway. Were you headed up toward Lumberton?
Lumberton, yes, sir.
Would you take issue with or dispute it if I say to you that that's actually referred to as East Texas Freeway?
No, sir.
Okay. Where we're talking about, eventually you'll get to, if you're taking that roadway or freeway, eventually you'll pass Dowling where the Parkdale Mall is, and then you get to that Mulligan's Golf Course.
Yes, sir.
Over there, traveling north, it'll be to your right. Before you actually make it to Tram and then Lumberton. You would agree with me, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, your vehicle, I'm sorry if you described it, I just can't recall it. What type of vehicle was it?
2005 Suburban.
What color was it? Or is
Blue.
In fact, you still have it Suburban. Right?
Yes, sir.
So it's a blue Suburban. You were driving it on East Texas Freeway, June the 12th, 2025. What, if anything, occurred or started to happen?
I was in a rush a little bit to get to where I was going, and I pulled out in front of a white Jeep Compass, and Daddy started honking at me, pulled up right next to me.
Let's kind of make sure we kind of unpack that. So you cut him off. Was it intentional?
No, sir, not at all.
At least that first time it wasn't intentional.
No, sir.
He honks, and then what happens?
He ended up cutting me off and got back in front of me, and I started doing the same thing back to him. So
He cuts you back off, then you cut him off again. I mean, how would you characterize that as a road rage incident?
yes, sir.
Are you proud of that?
No, sir, not at all.
Okay. But nevertheless, what happened next?
We were driving down the interstate, and we just kept going back and forth. He brandished a firearm towards me and waved it at me.
Let's talk about that a little bit. Let's unpack that a little bit. When you say he brandished a firearm, what do you mean? What did he do?
He stuck it out up against him and waved it at me and pointed it at me.
Out of the driver's side window?
Yes, sir.
So he was on your passenger side, driver's side window down, takes the firearm, sticks it out and waves it at you.
Yes, sir.
After the back and forth between the two.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any recollection of what that firearm looked like?
A pistol, about a full-size pistol, maybe some subcompact, maybe.
No. What did you do at that point once he brandished that firearm?
I taunted him a little bit, I ain't gonna lie. I taunted him. I told him, do it, why don't you shoot? And then he backed off. He went and did his own thing. I thought he had straight off, did it, went and pulled off somewhere or whatever. And we were going down the state. He pulled back up next to me about 2 or 3 minutes later and just let off shots.
Now, in between that time when he initially brandished the firearm and he fired, did you make a phone call?
Yes, sir. I made a call 911 to report him for flashing a firearm.
Were you on the line with 911 when the shots were fired?
Yes, sir. As I was reporting it, yes, sir.
Now, you hear these shots being fired. If I tell you or represent to you that there's been testimony prior in this case, previous testimony that says there were 6 bullets that actually struck your Suburban, you wouldn't have any reason to dispute that, would you?
No, sir, not at all.
Now, in addition to the 6 shots that hit that vehicle, your vehicle, what is your recollection of the total amount of shots that were fired in your direction?
About 8 or 9, probably.
So it's your recollection that there were 8 or 9 shots total that were fired,
Yes, sir.
notwithstanding what may have actually struck your Suburban.
Yes, sir.
What do you recall happening after your vehicle and you were struck?
I pulled off onto the freeway. I honestly didn't know what to do. I was in shock, and luckily a good Samaritan that was there just pulled off with me, told me to pull over.
Would that be Lori Jennings?
Yes, sir.
Do you still stay in contact with Lori Jennings?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm sorry to interrupt. Please continue.
And I pulled off the Mulligan's golf course. I'm pretty sure it is right there. And we sat right there with a cop and made sure I was okay, to make sure he wasn't going to spin back around or whatever until EMS arrived and transferred me to the hospital.
You didn't know Lori before that day?
No, sir. Never met her in a day of my life.
You glad she was there?
Yes, sir. Very.
She called you mom for you?
Yes, sir.
Let's back up on the series of the shots and how that transpired. You recall these shots being fired. You characterized them upstairs in my office. How did you characterize them? The sound that they made?
Bop, bop, bop. And I didn't even know what was happening. I didn't know he was pulling back up to me or anything.
And as you recall from the series of pops, which of those pops actually struck you?
The last one that was fired, sir.
You also was characterizing these pops for me, and you said it wasn't a steady pop. It sounded like
It seemed like he took a break for a second, then picked it back up.
fired a few shots,
Boss, a lot happened. I was in shock. I could.
but as best you recall, it seems like
Yes, sir.
took a little pause
Yes, sir.
and then started firing again. So you pull off over there by the Mulligan's golf range. Lori was there with you, and we've heard the 911 call that you made. We heard the 911 call that you made. Eventually, EMS comes along and they transport you to the hospital.
Yes, sir.
And once you got to the hospital, what, if anything, was determined about the nature of your injuries?
The only thing I was told was that the bullet hole's big enough to stick his finger into and he could wiggle it around.
This is what the doctor told you.
Yes, sir.
Now, there was some confusion. One of the officers put in their reports that the projectile struck and entered your cheek or under your lip. I think the lesson to be learned from that is not to rely on law enforcement or police officers for medical testimony, because actually, where did that projectile enter you?
I had my mouth open at the right time, that it went directly into my mouth, hit my teeth, went up through my back cheek and out through under my ear.
So it didn't enter your cheek, didn't enter your lip. It went through your mouth and out underneath your
Ear right here.
your lip. How many teeth did you lose?
Pretty sure 12 of them, sir, and I'm still having to get some surgically removed.
What, if any, effect has it had on your hearing?
I've lost hearing almost completely in my left ear.
How long were you in the hospital?
About 2.5 days.
Approach the witness, Judge.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to show you what's been previously admitted into evidence. It states 41, 42, and 43. The states 41, 42, And 43 looked like that Jeep Compass that you were engaged with the road rage incident with that day?
Yes, sir.
That you believe those shots were fired from?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to show you State's Exhibits 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 that have been admitted into evidence, particularly State's 5. Is that you in the hospital?
Yes, sir.
Goes without saying, did it cause you pain?
Yes, sir. Very much.
State 7, excuse me, 6, just a kind of a close up of you.
That's it, sir.
State's Exhibit number 8. Is that where that bullet or projectile exited your face?
Yes, sir.
Who cleaned up the blood that was in your Suburban?
My girlfriend did actually.
Are you still driving that Suburban today?
Yes, sir.
Now, law enforcement showed you a lineup of individuals for you to pick out the person that shot you, right?
Yes, sir.
And you understand that while you narrowed it down to a couple of people, ultimately you picked someone other than this defendant.
Yes, sir.
It's not like you were able to spend a lot of time looking and staring at this person, was it?
No, sir, not at all. I've only had caught a glimpse of him, and that's only because I was so focused on what was going on.
Did you, at any point, let me ask you this, the vehicle, your vehicle. We talked about you still having that vehicle. I mean, some of the questions I have to ask was to make sure the record is clear. I mean, I'm showing you State's Exhibit number 4, the shattered window. That, before that day, your Suburban didn't have a shattered window, did it?
No, sir.
It didn't have. State's Exhibit number 15, it didn't have what appears to be blood on the window. You didn't drive around like that.
No, sir.
Was your driver side mirror, did it have that hole in it?
No, sir.
What happened with your teeth?
What do you mean by that, sir?
Did you get any replacement, or what type of treatment have you had with regard to your teeth?
I got partials. That's about it. And then they say too much is gone, too much bone, and everything is gone to be able to implement like implants or something.
State's Exhibit number 29, before June the 12th of 2025, did you drive around with these 6 holes in your Suburban?
No, sir.
During this back and forth, this cutting off of each other, did you strike that Jeep Compass at any point?
No, sir.
During this back and forth cutting off, did you make like a gun gesture to the driver of that Jeep Compass?
No, sir.
During this back and forth, at any point, did you display a handgun to the individual that was driving the Jeep Compass?
No, sir, but I did have a gun in my back seat in a case. I'll always keep it just for if it's ever ready, if it's ever needed. But I didn't think at the time the situation needed it.
But you didn't grab it, brandish it, show it? Or
No, sir. Stayed underneath my seat like always.
I'm glad you're here today, Hunter.
Thank you,
Pass
sir.
it with the judge.
Thank you, Mr. Coleman. Mr. Burbank?
Police Court. Good afternoon, Mr. Furman.
Good morning, sir.
Can I ask you some questions? Does feel like morning, doesn't it? I'm gonna ask you some questions. If you don't understand, stop me, okay?
Yes, sir.
Where did you get on? I assume you got on Interstate 10 somewhere.
Yes, sir.
Whereabouts did you get on?
Major Drive. It's over there off of 124.
Okay, so you got on a 124 over by Ford Park.
Yes, sir.
And I gotta assume that's where you were living, or that's where.
That's where I live, so yes, sir.
And so you were heading for Lumberton. And then at the curve on I-10, you could go to Louisiana on I-10, or you could take East Tex Freeway and go up to Lumberton.
Yes, sir.
You've done that many times before.
I don't take that route too much.
Over your lifetime, right?
No, sir, I don't take that route often.
Oh, you don't drive that?
No, sir.
About 4 o'clock in the afternoon and a lot of traffic.
Yes, sir, very, it was rush hour.
Whereabouts did you cut in front of that white Jeep? Approximately.
I'd say a little before Home Depot, at Walmart.
If there was testimony before that said it was probably before that, either Gladys or Delaware, just after the.
I don't know where those locations are, so.
But if there was by a witness or somebody that testified, would you disagree with that?
No, sir.
Okay. So you cut them off and the person in the car laid on the horn.
Yes, sir.
Did you know whether or not they had to jam on the brakes?
No, sir, I did not.
Did you have to jam on your brakes?
No, sir.
Okay. And then he came up from around you, past you.
Yes, sir.
What happened then?
He got up to me and started throwing up his hands like I did something wrong. I didn't think I had did anything wrong.
So then he got in front of you.
Yes, sir.
And what did he do?
Brake checked me.
Okay. And so, not knowing the person, did you back off?
No, sir.
You didn't like move to another lane?
I did, but he moved with me.
Okay. How fast were y'all going?
Say about 65, 70 at the time.
Okay. So at 65, 70 miles an hour, going down East Tex Freeway, driving a car, driving that way, that's pretty dangerous, isn't it?
I wouldn't say so, sir.
You wouldn't say so if you were playing leapfrog?
Oh, at that time, yes, sir, yes.
Yeah.
I would say so, yes.
Somebody could have had an accident.
Yes, sir.
Somebody could have ran into each other because you were kind of running back and forth, right? He'd get in front, you get in front, you jam on your brakes, he'd jam on his brakes, right?
Yes, sir.
And there was testimony, you may not know, that the shooting or shots possibly weren't fired until after Dowling Road, maybe before 105 or somewhere between Dowling and Tram or LMDA Canal. That sound about right? You may not know.
No, sir, I do not recall.
Okay. But if there was testimony that said that. So if you started at Gladys, and I will tell you it's at the interchange of I-10 East Tex Freeway to north of Dowling Road, that's about almost 2.5 miles. Would you disagree or?
No, sir, I would not disagree.
Okay. So you're doing 65, 70 miles an hour playing what was categorized as leapfrog. That is, you get in front and jam on your brakes, and he'd get in front and jam on the brakes. Going down the East Tex Freeway, right?
Yes, sir.
And at no time did you decide, I need to get out of here. This is really dangerous.
I did, sir. That's what led me from getting away from him and speeding up. As soon as I saw that he had brandished the firearm and that he wasn't backing off, I tried to speed up and get away from the situation as far as I could. I even thought about turning off the interstate to get away from him.
But when you turned off, when you were playing leapfrog, you were in the inside lane. That is the fast lane, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then somewhere down the line, he pulled out a gun and waved it out the window at you.
Didn't wave it out the window, waved it inside the window. He never rolled down the window.
So he waved it out at the window at you.
He
So that
pointed it
means-
right at me and waved it side to side.
All right. So that means that you had to have been side by side doing 65, 70 miles an hour up East Texas.
Yes, sir.
You jammed down your brakes then.
What do you mean, sir?
Well, you're driving along and you're in the inside lane, you look to your right, and someone now has pulled out a gun waving it at you.
Yes, sir.
You jam down your brakes saying, This
No,
was really getting out of control. No?
no, I didn't think he would actually shoot. I didn't think it was that serious. I thought he was just like flaunting it, just like, hey, I got a gun, be scared of me.
Okay. So you weren't scared?
Well, I was, sir, but at the same time, I learned that not to let people intimidate you, especially if they're trying to do it.
So don't let people intimidate you. Was that because you had a gun too?
No, sir, not at all. I didn't even think about the gun.
So you weren't gonna let somebody that just flashed a gun at you, that you were going up the road 65, 70 miles an hour, going in and out, jamming on the brakes and back and forth and lanes and everything else, that you were gonna show him that you weren't intimidated.
Wasn't trying to show him. He had backed off after he had brandished the firearm.
And so you all kept on going up until he pulled beside you again.
Yes, sir. We had gone for about a good 3 or 4 miles, and I didn't even notice him. I didn't see him in my rearview mirror. I didn't know he was coming back up on me. I was making a call to 911 about him, just being reckless and brandishing a firearm, showing it off. And
How about you being reckless?
I was reckless, sir, and I regret it every single day.
And even after he brandished or he showed the gun, don't you think you were still reckless?
No, sir. I never left my lane after that. All I did was speed up to get away from him.
You saw a video of that was entered in, I believe it states exhibit number 3, that was from Miss Jenkins, the lady that stopped with you.
Yes, sir.
And in that video and audio, it said something like, what is he trying to do? Trying to kill somebody? And it was a video of you pulling in front of a white Jeep, jamming on your brakes.
Yes, sir.
And somebody, Miss Jenkins, thought that somebody was going to get killed.
I almost did, sir.
Well, you were almost did by jamming your brakes and pulling in front of him and jamming your brakes.
Objection, this is both misleading and a miscalculation and argumentative, Judge.
Sustained.
May I? Where's number 3? Okay, that's the white car. Do you know who was behind you in that truck?
No, sir.
Okay.
So, oh my gosh, what are they doing? I'm getting away from them. They're going to kill somebody.
Okay, you saw that.
Yes, sir.
And when you swerved back in front of that car, it was enough for somebody that didn't have a dog in the fight to say, what are y'all doing? You're going to kill somebody.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Right?
sir.
Do you remember that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Was that before or after the gun?
Pretty sure this was before, sir. I honestly have no recollection.
My CIA, because they keep doing this back and forth. I can't get through it.
Did you at any time move over to the outside lane? That's the slow lane. If I'm the lanes and this is the median, this is the fast lane, the center lane, and then the right-hand lane, the slow lane. Did you ever move over to the slow lane?
No, sir. As soon as I got in front of him, just like in that video, I never got back over.
So you stayed in the left-hand lane?
Yes, sir, the fast lane.
And, well, we know that you went in the center lane.
Yes, sir, but I'm pretty sure that was before this.
Well, that was while this all was happening, the leapfrog stuff.
Yes, sir.
And your testimony is then he pulled up to the side of you after you taunted him and you were not going to let someone, I guess, do what they did to you. Driving in the left-hand lane, and that's when he shot.
Yes, sir.
And prior to this, you called 911.
Yes, sir. I was on the phone call with 911 when it happened.
You were on the phone call with 911 when it happened.
Yes, sir.
That's what.
Thank you, Mr. Coleman.
Have nothing further for Hunter. No,
Any objection to Mr. Freeman being excused?
no, Judge.
Yeah, he's on the road. That's what you could just acknowledge.
You're free to go, Mr. Freeman. And then, Mr. Freeman, you're placed under what's called the rule. It just means that you're not allowed to be in here and watch anyone else's testimony. You can't watch any of the proceedings on YouTube. And you're not to discuss your testimony with anyone other than the lawyers or the investigators.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can step down.
Thank you.
You may call your next witness.
Your Honor, this time the state of Texas rests.
Thank you, Mr. Coleman. Mr. Burbank, are you ready to proceed?
I just need a couple of minutes if we could just take a very short.
Sure. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's 1:35 almost. We'll take about 10 minutes. All right, let the record reflect state's attorneys present, defendant and defense counsel are present. Anything we need to take up before we bring the jury back in?
Not from the state.
No.
All right, and is there anything with regard to testifying or not testifying that you want to put on the record with your client?
Yes, Your Honor, if I may.
Sure. Mr. Jones, stand up, please. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give in this trial will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? All right, and now speak real loud and clearly when he asks you some questions so the court reporter can hear.
Please, court. For the record, Asa, state your full name,
Asa Jones.
and you're the defendant in this case, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, you've heard, and we've been in trial, you've heard the state present their case, and they have now rested. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
It is now our turn to present evidence if we need to. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
There is a provision that says we don't have to do anything at all. We can just let whatever the state has put on and submit it to the jury, and that's perfectly fine. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
One of the things that has to be decided is whether or not you want to testify or not, correct?
Yes, sir.
You have an absolute right to take that stand and testify, tell your side of the story. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
But on the same token, you have constitutional protections. And that is that you have an absolute right not to say anything and remain silent. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
In fact, if you do remain silent, this court here, this judge is going to put in the jury charge that this jury cannot consider your silence when determining whether you're guilty, innocent, or punishment, or anything like that. You can remain silent, and she's going to instruct that jury that they cannot consider that. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, we have talked about it at length, have we not?
Yes, sir.
We've talked about the evidence. We've talked about your feelings and what you know of this case. And have you made a decision of whether or not you want to testify or not?
Yes, sir.
And do you want to testify?
Yes, sir.
So is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay, now, in making that decision, have you done that freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
Have anybody made any threats or promises?
No, sir.
I have not tried to talk you into this.
No, sir.
You have family members here and no one has communicated to you either way. This is totally your decision based on our conversations and what you believe you need to do.
Yes, sir.
I think I've covered it all, Judge.
All right, you can have a seat. And you can bring the jury in. All right, let the record reflect the jury seated, state's attorneys present, defendant and defense counsel are present. Mr. Burbank, are you ready to proceed?
Bench is ready, Your Honor.
You may call your first witness.
I call Asa Jones.
Mr. Jones, come on up. Mr. Jones was previously sworn and you can come on up and have a seat, sir. Mr. Jones, you've heard my instructions to everybody. Make sure you speak loudly and clearly into the microphone so everyone can hear you. Also, if it's a yes or a no question, be sure to say yes or no, not just a head nod or an uh-huh, so the court reporter can take everything down.
Yes, ma'am.
You may proceed.
For the record, could you introduce yourself to the ladies and gentlemen of this jury?
Good evening, I'm Asa Jones.
Okay, and Asa, where were you born and raised?
I was born in Beaumont, Texas, raised in Beaumont, Texas,
Beaumont, Texas. And how old a gentleman are you?
27.
27. You have any kids?
Yes, sir.
How many kids?
2,
And how old are they?
6, and 7.
And do they live in the area?
Yes, sir.
And I'm not gonna go into it at this time, but you are a part of their life, correct?
Yes, sir.
Active part.
Yes, sir.
Let's get right to the point here. Let's go back to June 12th of 2025. Okay? You got to answer.
Yes, sir.
Do you know Atlanta Gallo?
Yes, sir.
That's a young lady that was here that didn't want to come testify.
Yes, sir.
And how did you know her?
She's been a family friend.
Family friend? She kind of said that y'all were kind of seeing each other or kind of talking or something. Maybe not in your eyes?
No, sir.
Okay. during that day or sometimes prior, I'm going to show you 45 and State's Exhibit 45 and 42. Is this Miss Gallo's car?
Yes, sir.
Did you ask her to borrow the car?
Yes, sir.
And you were in the car, right?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever denied that you ever were driving around in the car?
No, sir.
Let's go now to about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Do you know where you got on either East Expressway or Interstate 10?
Maybe like Laurel.
On Laurel?
Laurel.
Okay, so Laurel, is that by the McDonald's
Yes, sir.
out there on I-10?
Yes, sir.
And then Calder,
Yeah.
stuff like that. And where were you headed for?
I was going to a friend's house.
Okay, and what was the location? Was that up on Chin Street or
Yes,
Chin
sir.
Road?
A 0 point.
Okay, so you were going to that apartment complex.
Yes, sir.
Hey, what were you doing going to there? You talked about going to a friend. What were you going to do?
I was actually going fishing that day.
Okay, so you were going to head up there to go fishing.
Yes, sir.
Did you work during that time?
Kind of sort.
Okay, had you always had a job, basically?
Yes, sir.
Were you in between jobs at that time?
Yes, sir.
But you always worked.
Yes, sir.
So you got on at Laurel? Any problems?
No, sir.
Okay, so when you got on Laurel, when did you first notice that there was possibly a problem?
Once I got over from the far lane into the
And
middle
when
lane.
I'm talking about the far lane, are you talking about by the median or are you talking about, I call it the fast lane, the center lane and the slow
I said
lane?
the slow lane.
Okay, that's where you take the exit or get on the entrance, stuff like
Yes, sir.
that. Okay, so that's the far lane from the median.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you're over there and what happened?
I had a car in front of me was driving slow. So I got over to the middle lane.
Okay, so you got over the middle lane to do what? Pass him?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then what happened after that?
Once I got over, I guess I accidentally cut the victim off, and I guess he was upset about that. And once I cut him off, he held his horn and rolled me maybe like a mile or two.
I know you want to tell your story. What does rolling mean?
Sir,
You said roll you?
riding.
Ride you.
Right.
Okay, so that mean he got on your bumper
Yes, sir.
and he was blowing the horn?
Yes, sir.
Okay, did you realize that you had done that?
It wasn't intentionally.
Okay, so then what happened?
I kind of like he rolled me for a little bit. He rolled my bumper for a while, and then once I figured out he was like blowing the horn and doing it, I got over.
Okay, so you got over and was that it? Was it over with?
No, sir.
Okay, what happened?
He felt the need to go around traffic and get in front of me, and I guess brake check me, get in front of me, and hit his brakes.
Okay, now what lane were you in when he first brake checked you? Were you the center? Were you the far lane? Were you the inside lane?
I was in the middle lane.
You were in the middle lane. Okay, so he went around you, and this is the blue Suburban, right?
Yes, sir.
I mean, we've been all talking about it's here. And when he went around you, he jammed on his brakes.
Yes, sir.
You said brake check you, but it's jamming on the brakes.
Yes, sir.
Did you have to jam on your brakes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so then what were you thinking or what happened next?
I really didn't think it was a big deal until like we got up the roads in traffic, and it happened again. Like once I tried to get away from him, and he just kept riding me, blowing the horn, and he was going chaotic in the car. And
Did you see him?
yes, sir.
Okay, I mean, did you recognize him today? Or did you not?
Nah, not really.
Okay. But you knew he was upset
Yes, sir.
and you tried to get away?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what happened?
It just went back and forth a couple of times. We did it back about 2-3 times, and then I finally got away from him. And
How did you get away from him?
by speeding off.
Okay. Did you go over to another lane?
I got into another lane and sped off.
Okay, so then what happened?
He wasn't on my trail no more for probably about like two miles maybe, and he just came sped up from far back. And
Okay, so when he sped up, what happened?
I noticed him coming at a high speed, you know, so I'm just like, maybe he gonna just pass me up and let it go. And that wasn't the case. He just pulled alongside of me, and he was just like, at this point, he wasn't even behind me anymore. He was on side of me and pulling in front of me. So that'll,
Hold on. What lane were you in when he sped up to get behind you?
I was in the slow lane.
You were in the slow lane.
Yeah.
And so he came up beside you.
Yes, sir.
Did you notice whether or not the driver was upset or not?
I knew he was already upset the way he, you know, he wouldn't let me go.
Right? Was he waving his hands? Was he doing anything?
Yeah,
Yelling?
kind of sort of. I guess he was cursing and pointing middle finger, and it was just chaotic and cutting.
Well, you heard him say he was trying to taunt you. And that he wasn't going to back down for what you did. So he was still carrying on?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so then what happened when he was pulling beside you? You said something about he was using his car to get you over? Or
Yeah, he
what?
was using his car to push me out. At this point, I wasn't even on the freeway anymore. Like, as y'all can see, the Suburban was big, so he was putting in front of me like this. So I'm trying to get around him to try to pass him up, but I wasn't even on the highway anymore. I was on the shoulder part, so, you know.
Okay, so then what happened after that?
It just kept going like that. I tried to stop and like let him go, just like, you know, but he just wouldn't back off.
Did you fear for your safety?
Yes, sir, I did.
Did you fear that something bad was going to happen?
Yes, sir, I did.
Somewhere along the line, a gun was used.
Yes, sir.
What made you pull out a gun?
Just wouldn't back off. Like, I really was in fear for my life.
You thought something bad was going to happen.
Something bad was gonna happen. The reason I say it is because I'm a victim of a gunshot too.
Objection, Your Honor, not responsive. You didn't ask
Sustained.
that.
Just make sure you only answer the questions that are asked, okay?
You've been in bad situations before.
Yes, sir.
I'd ask, Your Honor, that the jury be instructed to disregard the answer to his previous question.
So the answer to the question that I sustained the objection to, you are instructed, ladies and gentlemen, not to take that into consideration for any purpose.
As I asked you, you had situations before that were bad, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you realize that there was testimony that said you waved the gun at him?
Yes, yes, sir.
You waved the gun at him. Do you remember even doing that?
No, sir.
Okay. Back approach for a second.
Sure.
That's right.
Come on, Asa. Somewhere the window came down, and do you remember pointing the gun out?
Yes, sir.
And do you remember pulling the trigger?
Yes, sir.
Do you really know how many times you pulled the trigger?
Like 5 or 6.
Okay. And what were you trying to do? You trying to shoot him?
No, sir. I was just trying to back him off.
You're trying to get away from him. Because he wouldn't leave you alone.
Yes, sir.
Were you scared?
Yes, sir.
So where did you, I guess finally, I guess you didn't realize at that time that he had been shot.
No, sir.
Where did you go after that? Where did you drive?
Went to a 0 point.
And that to where they found the car?
Yes, sir.
And you go to a friend's house?
Yes, sir.
Were you scared?
Yes, sir.
How long after that did you realize that the police wanted to talk to you?
Like a day or 2.
Okay. You didn't stick around there, did you?
Stick around with.
At the apartment complex?
No, sir.
You heard one of the officers, classmate from middle school. Did you know her?
Yes, sir.
you knew before, I guess the police were looking for you, but you talked to them, right?
Yes, sir.
And why did you delay going to the police?
It was Father's Day weekend. I knew it was a possibility I could go to jail, so I just wanted to spend time with my daughter.
No, I just spent Father's Day with her.
Yes,
And
sir.
after that, did you turn yourself in?
Yes, sir.
Are you sorry for what happened?
Yes, sir.
Did you mean for it to shoot him?
Never meant for it to get that deep, because it really wasn't that serious. It was just, he was
Now
scared.
response to that was a yes or no question.
Yes, sir.
Just trying to answer that.
Well, it was
But
not
they-
a response.
If it's a yes or no question, just answer yes or no, and then Mr. Burbank can follow up with any other explanation.
When you say it wasn't serious, it was serious enough that you thought your life was threatened, right?
Yes, sir.
But you never thought it would get to that far?
No, sir.
Never, did you ever expect it to be that far?
No, sir.
Were you ranting and raving and taunting? Well, we know it was Hunter Freeman. Were you trying to do that to him?
No, sir.
In fact, did you hear any testimony that said you were trying to taunt him or anything like that?
No, sir.
But you are sorry.
Yeah, I regret it every day.
But is it your testimony that you were just trying to get away,
Yes,
get
sir.
him away because of his actions? That's Mr. Freeman. Ask the surgeon.
Thank you, Mr. Burbank. Mr. Coleman?
Thank you, Honor. Good afternoon, Mr. Jones. You okay? Do you need a minute or two? All right. Were you crying back on June the 28th, June the 12th of 2025 when you shot Hunter Freeman in the face? Were you crying that day?
I wasn't crying, but I was.
It's a yes or no question. Yes or no. Were you crying that day?
Sure.
I didn't think so. Let me ask you a few questions if that's okay. Few housekeeping matters, please. You are the defendant charged in the indictment, Asa Joseph Jones, correct?
Yes, sir.
You don't dispute that this all happened on June the 12th of 2025, do you?
No, sir.
You don't dispute that this all happened in Jefferson County, Texas?
No, sir.
And you do not dispute that if someone, anyone, not necessarily you, is firing on a moving vehicle on a freeway, that is reckless?
Yes, sir.
You don't dispute that if someone, not necessarily you, is firing on a moving vehicle, that could cause serious bodily injury, correct?
Sir.
You don't dispute that Hunter Freeman incurred or received serious bodily injury. You don't dispute that, do you?
No, sir.
I mean, he lost his hearing, for God's sake. He lost his teeth. Now, whoever did that should be held accountable, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, two people involved in this incident, this altercation, this whatever you want to call it, called 911. Two of the three people involved. We had Lori Jennings, who thought it was important enough to call 911. We had Hunter Freeman, who thought it was important enough to call 911. You know who the only person out of the three that didn't call 911 was?
Me.
You. If you felt so in fear of your life, why not call 911?
Road rage happened every day. I just thought I was going to get away from it.
But you were in such fear. You were so afraid you thought it was a good idea to pull out a handgun and shoot somebody, but you didn't think it was probably a good idea to pull out your cell phone and call 911.
As I said,
Yes or
I
no?
think it was
That's a
that
yes or
serious.
no question, Mr. Jones. You didn't think it was important enough to pull out your cell phone and call 911, yes or no?
No, sir.
All right, because here's how it's going to go. I'm going to ask you yes or no questions by and large, for the most part. I'm not going to just let you get up there and say what you want to say. The way this works is I ask the questions,
You
you
know,
say
I'm
yes or
gonna
no
object
question.
to that.
Yes or no. I'll
It's
move on.
just a question and answer period, not a lecture.
I'll move on. Did you make a police report?
No, sir.
Did Hunter Freeman hit you or strike your vehicle in any way?
Not that I recall.
All right. Did Hunter Freeman use his hand to gesture to indicate, hey, I got a gun in this car?
his hands was moving. I don't know what it was.
Again, yes or no, Mr. Jones? Did he use his hand at any point to make a gesture to indicate he had a gun?
I didn't see, no. I don't recall.
Is that a no?
I don't recall.
Judge, I'd ask that the court instruct the witness to answer my questions, yes or no.
It's either, it's, if he doesn't recall, he doesn't recall. It
Yes.
can be, yeah.
Did Hunter Freeman display a hand?
I don't recall.
Okay, this is how we're going. Now, Mr. Burbank asked you a series of questions, a number of questions. At any point during his question, did you respond to him? I don't recall.
Maybe 1 or 2 questions.
That's you on that video that we saw from the real-time crime center, right? Driving that Jeep,
Yes, sir.
the white Jeep with the black top. That's you on that other video we saw leaving that agency from downtown at around 3:30 or so. That's you in that red cap, correct?
Yes, sir.
Those are your cell phone records, right? That we had the Detective Llewellyn and the Verizon representative come in and testify about. Those are your cell phone records, right?
I didn't see him. I never seen the records.
So we're gonna play this game. You know, this jury is evaluating your credibility, right?
I never seen him.
Hold on,
I
son.
never
This is
seen
my
him.
question. I'm in the middle of asking a question. I'll not interrupt you if you don't interrupt me.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, you heard the testimony about those cell phone records, and you understand this jury is evaluating your credibility, whether or not you're telling the truth. So are you telling this jury that those weren't your cell phone records?
I don't recall seeing any records on it. Did you put it on the TV?
Let me ask you
I'm
this.
asking.
Let me ask you this way. Let me ask you this way. Are you saying that you and your cell phone were not in downtown Beaumont at around 3:16 to 3:30 or so on June the 12th of 2025?
Yes, that was me. Yes,
All
sir.
right, thank you. See, it's not that hard, Mr. Jones. Are you saying that you and your cell phone were not on East Tex Freeway near Tram in that Mulligan's Golf Course at around 4 p.m.?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. That's really all I'm getting at. You were loaned that Jeep by Atlanta Gallo. Why are you driving her car instead of your car?
I don't have a vehicle.
Mm-hmm. And you drove that vehicle downtown. You drove that vehicle on East Tex Freeway. You talked about not being able to get away. In fact, I made a note of that. I want to use your exact words. I tried to get away, is what you said at one point. And then you said, I finally got away from him. Those were your words, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
When you finally, as you put it, because I made sure I wrote it down, when you finally got away from him, why not just stay away?
I got away. If you listen to my testimony, I got away. Once I got away, it opened 2 miles. He came speeding up. He came back towards me. I was already away from him.
Anything stopping you from exiting the freeway?
I wasn't by my exit yet.
Anything stopping you from getting in a different lane and slowing down even slower?
I was in a slow lane, so he came, presented himself to me. He was trying to knock me off the freeway.
And so Hunter Freeman got what he deserved.
I don't know, sir. That's not what I said. So I
All right,
regret
so I know it's not. I know it's
Nobody
not.
deserved to
Hold on,
get shot.
excuse me.
Sir, get shot, sir.
Well, you just answered the question. Thank you very much.
Nobody deserved to get shot.
Nobody deserved to be shot, particularly over something
Yes,
that
sir.
one of us is going to get in trouble if we keep talking over each other.
Yeah.
Judge is going to get after one of us.
The court reporter can only take one of y'all down at a time.
He asking me to.
I know, just
answering his questions.
just answer exactly what he's asking, and then he'll ask you another question. And if he's answering, make sure you give him opportunity to answer.
Are you upset with me, Mr. Jones?
Not at all.
Because if you get upset, what do you do when you get upset? Do you shoot people?
No, sir. I'm not upset.
Oh, okay. All right. Now, back to what I was asking you. You had the opportunity to just disengage, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. He was in a big Suburban is what you said.
Yes, sir.
And the fact that that big Suburban gave you the license to shoot the man in the face.
That's not the case, sir.
All right, thank you. You answered my question. It's a no, right?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. And you also have indicated back again, when I asked, did he get what he deserved? Your response was no, right?
Yes, sir.
He didn't deserve it, did he?
No, sir.
I appreciate your honesty, Mr. Jones. Thank you very much. You were watching the police from some apartment at the Azure Point Apartments, right?
I never watched the police.
And here's why I say that, and here's why I ask that, because it was the testimony, or it was the statement made by Atlanta Gallo to law enforcement that she received a call from you indicating that you were looking at the police examining that Jeep. If she said that, would that be true or false?
That's false.
How many times did you shoot at that Suburban?
I should have the exact amount, but I just said like 5 or 6.
5 or 6. What kind of gun was that?
I'm not sure.
What did you do with the
I
gun?
don't recall.
What did you do with the gun?
I don't recall.
Like, okay, it's like 5th time, 4th or 5th time you don't call something. Let me ask you this
Answer
way.
the question.
I appreciate it. Let me ask you this. Where did you get the gun?
Out the streets.
Who did you get the gun from?
I'm not sure. I don't know his name.
Okay. The person at the Azure Point Apartments that you went to see, who's that person's name?
Joey.
What does Joey have a last name?
Right.
What apartment number did Joey Wright live in?
I'm not sure the exact apartment number.
Again, you don't recall.
I don't recall.
All right. You mentioned your daughter. How old is your daughter?
7 and 6.
All right. Let's take the 7-year-old. Let's say the 7-year-old, she gets her driver's license eventually. She's driving along on East Texas Freeway, and somebody cuts her off. She cuts them off, and someone heaven forbid, pulls out a gun and shoots your daughter in the face. Should that person be convicted?
Can you repeat that question?
Is that person guilty of a crime if he shot your daughter in the face for cutting him off in traffic?
I have no service.
Not pass.
Hold on, hang on.
Judge, no, I withdraw the question. I'll pass it.
Right, hang on. Mr. Burbank, do you have any other questions?
Yes, Your Honor, I got a couple. Were you upset what happened that day? This isn't a yes or no answer. Were you upset that day?
About what?
What happened?
Or about the victim?
Yeah,
About the victim?
right.
Yeah, I wasn't upset like towards him, but when it happened, I was regretful that they.
And it's not a yes or no response, but did you ever think about using your phone and calling 911, or were you just trying to get away?
Just trying to get away because I didn't feel like it would be serious. You know, like I said, road rage happen every day.
And when he asked you questions in reference yes or no, or whether or not he deserved it or not, at the time that you fired, did you fear for your safety or for what he was doing? And that's Freeman was doing with his vehicle towards you.
Yes, sir.
And when he pulled up inside of him, was he calm? Was he just
No, he was
driving
aggressive.
along?
He was aggressive.
Was he waving his hands?
He waving his hand, he's swerving, he's, you know.
I guess you're doing 50, 55, 60. He said 70 miles an hour.
Well, we weren't going that fast. We were slippery on the road.
Did you know if he had a gun or not?
No, sir, not.
But was he using the vehicle against you to kind of push you off the side of the road?
Yes, sir.
Nothing further.
Anything else, Mr. Coleman?
No, Judge.
All right, you can step down. You may call your next witness.
Defense.
Thank you, Mr. Burbank. Mr. Coleman, does the state have any rebuttal?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Coleman, the state has the right to open and close closing arguments.
Your Honor, the state would waive its right to open, however, it would reserve its right to close.
All right. Mr. Burbank, that means you can proceed.
Police Court, Counselor. Ladies and gentlemen, this was kind of a short trial. It was kind of fast in reference to trials. But it doesn't take away the importance of what you have to do today. Stood in front of you Monday afternoon here and we talked. State talked to you and trying to figure out who might be on this jury. One of the things I really asked you was, was that one is that you would follow the law, that you would make the state prove each and every element beyond a reasonable doubt, because we could not come up with an agreement. That is to settle this case. And we needed you to decide this. I also made mention of putting the facts on the table and letting you all decide. And you have kind of a unique situation in that there are cases, and sometimes many cases, in which you do not hear from the defendant. In this case, you did. You heard his side and what happened. So there's really no guessing, though you would have been instructed that you could not take that into consideration. But now you can. So it is when you try to stand here and the state talked about credibility and judging credibility, you are the sole fact finders and the sole persons to judge the credibility. And what I say and what Mr. Coleman say are not evidence and should not be considered in the case. It's just our views. So now we have to determine what happened in June 12th of 2025. We have to decide whether or not this gentleman here, Asa, committed the offense that's alleged in the indictment. A majority of the time, situations aren't fixed by use of a firearm or a gun. And sometimes it is. Sometimes you have to try to get to the situation at the time in which I tried to bring out of what transpired before the firing of the shots. We know that there was never an issue of whether or not Asa was in the car. There was never any rebuttal or refusal or anything that was shown to you, oh, it wasn't me. So that's not an issue. I believe, and it's just my belief, that the issue is what led up to the actions that were here today. And you have to kind of piece it together because everyone has their own views. But what you know is that there are two vehicles driving. What you know is that somewhere, and people are familiar with Beaumont at the curve at I-10, where it's switched from I-10 going north to Parkdale Mall and East Tex Freeway. This somewhere around there it happened because Gladys does hit I-10 and East Tex Freeway. But you should know where it is. And what you saw from Miss Jennings, who was the lady here, was that was her rendition of when this started. A person that didn't have a dog in this fight. A person that was there and realized what was going to happen. And so you know that something happened between Asa and Hunter Freeman's car. Well, Hunter thinks he cut Asa off. Asa thinks, well, maybe I cut him off. I'm not sure, or pulled him out in front of him. Well, we know that it was traffic. Well, what we do know is that immediately after that, the horns, the braking started. And as the testimony said, they were leapfrogging. So that means that, or riding up on them, that they were on each other's bumper and they would go to the one lane and they pass and they jam on the brakes and whatever it was. But it was extremely dangerous. And I would submit to you that any vehicle, whether they were doing 50, 55, or as Mr. Freeman said, would be 70 miles an hour, can cause death and injury. What we have and what I ask you is to take a look at the time, if you don't remember, State's Exhibit number 4, because this is the cell phone that Miss Jennings' boy took. And what it shows is that Mr. Freeman doing the action in reference to pulling in front, jamming on the brakes. What I point out to you is her reaction. What are they doing? Fixing to kill somebody. Well, now you know how serious this is. If an independent third party says by their actions that someone possibly can die, you know then there is a belief that there's actions in reference to fear of their life and fear of the safety from an independent person. And that's what Ms. Jennings said. And you hear it on that. Well, what happened after that? Right, now you get a little bit of an insight of what happened after that. And how you get that insight is by Mr. Freeman. Mr. Freeman. I was just as much to blame. I was doing the same thing. We know that. I was taunting him. Well, how do you taunt somebody doing 70 miles an hour? You rant and you're right, and just start ranting and raving about it. Okay? Well, you know that was testimony, not only from Freeman, but from Mason. You listen to Mr. Freeman, and he said, well, he pulled up the side, or I pulled up to the side of him, and he waved a gun. He doesn't remember that, but the gun. But the point being is that when somebody is riding in a car and the other car, somebody waves or flashes a gun at you, and you're going down the road for a number of miles at 50, 60, 70 miles an hour, there should be a bell that goes off saying, I'm getting out of here. And that's Mr. Freeman. But what does he tell you? I egged him on. I said, come on, do it, when I saw the gun. And I said, I was taught, remember his statement? I was taught, I wasn't backing down. No one was going to do that to me. And there is the key. There is the key that said, whatever Asa did or wasn't doing or had done, he wasn't going to get away from it. He wasn't going to get away from Mr. Freeman and that Suburban. Now, I wish that law enforcement, because they had cameras everywhere else, you know they had cameras on East Texas Freeway, that they were going down East Texas Freeway to try to determine at what point, because we realized possibly from Ms. Jennings that the shooting happened north of Dowling Road. Somewhere between, I would submit to you, Dowling Road and 105, because I got off at the next exit after the LNVA canal. I wish that they would have gone down through the businesses to get the cameras that were there to try to determine and piece together what actually happened at the time it actually happened. What caused it? Who was the aggressor? Who was trying to get away or not get away? What were the actions? But there was none. The burden of proof was on the state to show you. So you have to see what, between the testimony, what you can consider. Well, you know that Mr. Freeman was upset. You know that he was taunting and telling him, go ahead, if you're going to shoot, shoot. And that he wasn't going to let back down from that. He did. But what you heard was, and does it make sense, that because Freeman is in such a rage, because this man right here did whatever he was doing to him, does it make sense he was using his vehicle to try to get in front of him again, in between the traffic, or coming and trying to play chicken with them, or try to get back in front of them again? Because you heard what Asa said, he was trying to get in front. And I would submit to you, he was trying to play leapfrog again to jam on the brakes. Going to show you. And that's where I submit to you that he got scared. He told you he was sorry. He told you he didn't want it. I mean, anybody. But at the time, and as you look at it, because there's a self-defense issue, what was he thinking? I have a raving lunatic in another car, a Suburban, that I can't get away from. And you heard it from Hunter. He wasn't. Self-defense is, I don't know what attorneys came up with this or legislature. It is confusing. Even I read it 5, 6, 7, 8 times, and I've been doing it since 1990. But when you get the charge on page 6, it says presumption. And then one of the things that, and before that, it says the defendant did not provoke Hunter Freeman. Where was the provocation? Where was there any testimony that he was trying to provoke Hunter Freeman? You heard the opposite. Hunter Freeman was trying to provoke him. The other question then is, was the defendant engaged in criminal activity? Well, I anticipate when I sit down is that the state's going to get up and they were both reckless. Right? Let's buy that one. Let's just jump right into that. But as you go down to presumption, it says, one, that he has a presumption that self-defense was right. If he didn't provoke, and we heard it from Hunter, that he was the provocator. But it says he cannot be using deadly force when he was engaged in criminal activity other than a Class C misdemeanor that is a violation of the law or an ordinance regulating traffic. Use your reason and common sense. They were in vehicles. They were traveling on a public road. And if there was a motor vehicle violation, that does not eliminate the presumption that he might have to be able to use self-defense. There was a big deal in reference to Miss Gallo not wanting to talk and not wanting to come here. He doesn't have anything to do with this. Nothing at all. Don't go down that rabbit trail. She wasn't protecting anybody. She just didn't want anything to do with it. She used her car. You borrowed it. They didn't want to cooperate with police. That's common. Don't get me involved. But as the insinuation was thrown out there that she was trying to avoid law enforcement, you notice when I got up and cross-examined the detective, they had conversations that night. She called back. She called back more than once, more than twice, given the number, said. And then finally she said, I'm finished talking. I'm not going to call you anymore, but call. Wasn't a voice. So what is that presumption? Why do they throw that out? It has nothing to do with this case. I submit to you, you have to take a look at where it started, what you have in order to say what led up to the shots being fired. Thank God no one was killed. Thank God. But did he bring it upon himself? Did he do things and was his mindset was he was not going to get away with it, what he ever did? And I don't even know. Did Asa cut him off? Or under the belief of Mr. Freeman, he cut Asa off? Don't know. Don't know. But the actions afterwards, and I submit to you, a motor vehicle driven that way is a deadly weapon that could cause serious death or injury. And when you're driving down the road trying to get away from somebody that's a raving maniac saying, go ahead, use your gun. Go ahead, I dare you, I'm not backing down. I submit to you, his actions, Asa's actions, self-defense. I thank you for your time. This is the last time I get to talk to you. You may say, thank God. but this is important. If I've missed anything or pointed out anything, not point out anything, that, oh, why didn't they say this, or why didn't they say that? Believe me, I'm trying the best that I can. You heard from Asa, you heard from Mr. Freeman, you heard the witnesses. I ask you to take a look at State's Exhibit number 4. And I wait for your verdict. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mr. Burbank. Mr. Coleman?
Thank you, Your Honor. May it please the court. Mr. Burbank, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I too want to thank you for your time and attention on behalf of the district attorney's office, on behalf of Hunter Freeman, on behalf of this community. I've been watching you throughout this trial, albeit I agree, a short trial, but it has appeared to me that you've given it your due attention, and I have no doubt you will give it your due deliberation during your time deliberating this case. I was a little confused during Mr. Burbank's closing arguments to you as to whether or not Hunter Freeman was on trial or Asa Jones was on trial. Mr. Burbank referred to Mr. Freeman bringing it on himself. I don't know that Mr. Freeman, by engaging in road rage or back and forth, something that people do on a daily basis, albeit not something they should do, but things that people do. I don't know that he brought it on himself to be shot in the face. In fact, when I pressed the defendant himself, the words out of his own mouth were that he did not deserve that. Think about that. The defendant himself said he didn't deserve to be shot in the face. And if you think about him saying that, the fact that he didn't deserve that, that means that it was wrong. People don't deserve things that happen to them if those things are wrong. And if they don't deserve those things to happen to them, then there needs to be accountability. To let this defendant walk out of this courtroom today without consequences means that he did not or was not held accountable for, quote unquote, what Hunter Freeman didn't deserve. So just let that sink in. Another thing that you can take into consideration, and it's not my words, it comes straight from the jury chart, you can read it yourself when you get back there, is you can believe some, none, or all of the testimony of any of the witnesses, and that includes this defendant. And if you've been doing this as long as I have, you come to realize that when it's crunch time and when it's all on the line for a criminal defendant, somehow the tears start to flow, and somehow they find Jesus, or there's always something, I would submit to you that the real test of whether or not you can believe this defendant in his sincerity and whether or not he was being truthful is that during his testimony, the several instances of when he says, I don't recall. I asked him, where did you get the gun? I don't recall. Who did you get the gun from? I don't recall. What did you do with the gun? I don't recall. What apartment number did Joey Wright live in? I don't recall. I submit to you that is indicative of someone who's being evasive. That's indicative of someone who's if you believe, or if that's your opinion, someone who's being untruthful. You can factor that into whether or not you believe his version of how afraid he was that day on East Texas Freeway. You can consider that when you believe whether or not it was reasonable. Because make no mistake, the jury charge tasks you with determining whether or not his supposed fear was reasonable. It goes on to tell you that reasonableness is gauged upon or judged by what an ordinary person would believe, okay? And this ordinary person is you and me. What would an ordinary person believe? An ordinary person, I submit to you, under these facts, under this evidence and testimony, would simply say, this is someone who is cutting me off, who is trying to teach me a lesson, someone who is not trying to kill me. That's what an ordinary person's reasonable belief would be. And that's what you have to decide before you give this defendant the benefit of whether or not he's entitled to a self-defense in this case. Think about this. To find otherwise, to say that because someone cuts you off in trade, it would be a different story, ladies and gentlemen, if Hunter Freeman rammed him with his car. Now I think you got a strong argument. Now I think, hey, he ran into me. He did a NASCAR pit move on me, put me into the side guardrail. I thought I was gonna die. That'd be a different story. But to find this defendant was justified in his actions pursuant to self-defense would give a green light to everybody else in Jefferson County to walk in this courtroom the next time somebody cuts him off and say, well, hey, Asa Jones got off. Asa Jones said he was scared because the guy was cutting him off. So because this person cut me off, I shot him in the, wherever, and I should get a free pass too. Ladies and gentlemen, don't do that. Don't give him a free pass. It would be like putting up a billboard on I-10 or East X Freeway that says, you know what, let's return to the Wild Wild West. Don't like if they cut you off in traffic, if they look at you wrong, pull out your guns and shoot. We're better than that. I mean, what would we have become if we get to that? Let me just talk about a couple other things before I close. The elements in this case, I don't think they're in dispute. In fact, I agree with Mr. Burbank that, you know, the date that this happened, whether or not it was the defendant, whether or not it happened in Jefferson County, whether or not there were shots fired from motor vehicle to motor vehicle, whether or not there was serious bodily injury. That 400 Freeman's going to have to live with the hearing loss for the rest of his life, live with the loss of his teeth for the rest of his life. This could have very well been a very different trial. You could have been looking at some different charges, isn't it? So I don't think there's any doubt as to whether or not there was serious bodily injury. This defendant himself admitted that those actions were reckless. So when you, as you're working your way through the elements in this jury charge, I submit to you that you don't spend a lot of time on it because they're really not in contention. I think what's in contention is the self-defense argument and whether or not you will buy into that. Self-defense. You can't, like we talked about in jury selection. I'm so glad that we spent a little time on that in jury selection. You'll remember my little cheesy little example that I used about whether or not you provoke it, then you can't claim self-defense. And whether or not you're engaged in criminal activity, then you can't claim self-defense. I submit to you there's enough evidence here. If you believe Hunter Freeman's testimony that he unintentionally cut that defendant off the first time, and then it was on after that. This defendant ratcheted it up and provoked it. If you believe he provoked it, he gets no self-defense. If you also believe that he was engaged, this defendant was engaged in criminal activity, he doesn't get a self-defense either. Now, Mr. Burbank's right that the criminal activity cannot consist of a Class C misdemeanor. However, reckless driving is, while it's under the transportation code, it's punishable by up to 30 days in jail. That makes it not a Class C. Class C offenses are punishable by a fine only. It's like a speeding ticket. That's what Class Cs are. So when you see that in the jury charge, he can't get a self-defense if it's a Class, a Class C misdemeanor doesn't count as a criminal activity. Well, this is not Class C. It's not.
Your Honor, there was no evidence whatsoever, and I'm gonna object to an improper jury argument in reference to motor vehicle.
That's the law, Judge, is what it is.
So has that not been submitted to the jury for consideration?
The jury will recall the evidence and the charge has all those instructions in it.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll close by saying you can find this defendant guilty. You should find this defendant guilty, not because I say so, not because Officer Gerard says so, but because it's what the evidence in this case demands. It's what justice in this case demands. Justice for Hunter Freeman. Justice for our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Coleman. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that means you've heard all the evidence and the charge and closing argument by counsel. I'm going to hand the charge to the bailiff and she will take it back and get you settled into the jury deliberation room. Once you're in there, you can select your foreperson and begin your deliberations. For the alternate, sir, if you'll just wait right there, we'll give you your instructions in just a minute. The rest of you guys can go this way with the bailiff.
1 hour later.
All right, we're back on the record. State's attorneys present, defendant, defense counsel are present. I've received a message that the jury has reached a verdict and you can bring the jury in. All right, let the record reflect that the jury is seated. State's attorneys present, defendant, defense counsel are present. At this time, I would ask the foreperson, has the jury reached a verdict?
Yes, we have.
And is it the unanimous decision of all of the members of the jury?
Yes.
Thank you. You can hand it to the bailiff. We, the jury, find the defendant, Asa Joseph Jones, guilty of aggravated assault as charged in the indictment. It's got the signature and the printed name of the foreperson. Would either party wish to have the jury polled, Mr. Burbank? Mr. Coleman?
No, yeah.
Any reason, at this time then not to, accept the verdict?
After the stage is.
No,
All right, then at this time, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jones, I accept the verdict of the jury and find you guilty of aggravated assault. What that means is that the first phase of the trial is over and we'll now move into the second phase. Obviously, it's 10 minutes to 5, so we're not going to get started on that this afternoon. We'll get started first thing in the morning. Before we go any further, Mr. Coleman and Mr. Burbank, do either of you have any objection to the alternate being excused at this time? So we do want to thank you so much. You'd be surprised how many times we use our alternate. And so I don't want you to think that you wasted your time, because it does happen quite often that we use our alternate. But at this point, you don't have to wait anymore. So when you leave this evening, you don't have to come back tomorrow. If you need anything for your employer today, you can ask the bailiff and they'll let you get that as well on your way out. What I'd like to do is get started tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. You're still under all of those previous instructions and rules that we talked about before. So keep all of those in mind, and then just gather a little before. Do you want me to have them wait back here while we clear things out, and then you guys can take them out in just a few minutes? Let's do that. And the alternate, you can either go ahead and leave now, but the rest of you, if y'all want to go back into the jury room, once we have the courtroom cleared out, the bailiff will let you guys go. Yes. Oh, don't forget your badge, sir. Thank you, Mr. Coleman. And thank you.
So keep in mind that everything you just witnessed in the last 3 hours took place over the course of the day between about, 10 a.m. in the morning and 5 p.m. in the evening. That's Central Standard Time on July the 8th. So that means they were finishing up that closing statement around 3 p.m. And everybody was already tired by then. Lots of stuff been going on. Then 2 hours before lunch, an hour after lunch, an hour and a half, maybe more. A lot of stuff going on. Jury was tired. Only an hour to really make a decision after, like I said, you had 12 people in that jury box who are probably more than likely Texan gun owners. And there's just no good excuse for that kind of behavior when you're a gun owner. It's just irresponsible behavior to be driving irresponsibly like that and brandishing a weapon and then discharging the weapon into a moving vehicle. That's just not anything anybody would ever think is justifiable. I'm not. The self-defense thing is even. There's so many other options. You can put on your brakes and get out of that. The self-defense just not even a thing, right? I mean, you just can't even go there, because when you can just put on your brakes, move the shoulder of the road, and get out of the situation that easily, as opposed to taking the time to pull up, even with the other car, brandishing your weapon, then popping off 6 shots. Boom, 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 boom. What? How's that? That's just criminal thinking is what that is. Tomorrow we have the sentencing coming up. It's a big ask. Of course, the defense wants probation. The victim wants 40 years. We'll see what the jury comes back with. For now, I want to say thank you to all of you great people who've been here with me tonight. Let's get this circus rolling. Star Steven was here earlier tonight. He had a super chat with us. So hey, there's that. That's a thing. Happy Saturday from Bat Boy is Back. Bat Boy is Back had like several of these super chats. Thank you so very much for all of those, Bat Boy. Vega Starlight. Where is Steven? Well, Steven is where Steven is, Vega. We love Steven. We can't control him. We don't even pretend like we can. He's a force of nature. He's like the wind. He is where he is when he is where he is. Miss Natasha, thanks Lone Wolf Usul in chat for the entertainment and conversation. Thank you so much for the super chat and the support. Fat Boy's Back. I see your name here again. Thank you so much for being back so many times. Thank you all. I can't say all of your names. Kiernoth, Soldier of Providence, Mama Wolfie, Northwest, Becky. I can say the names that I see on the screen right now because let go of the rope. You know what I mean? Crafty Rhea, thank you for the stream. Thank you for being here and making the stream everything it has been. We got one more of these. This is a trifecta. The sentencing is as good as the jury trial was. Promise me you will be back. The victim will be back on the stand. And we have a lot more to hear about. I'll see you next time. Until then, I'm your lone Wafusa. I am out. And remember, only you can take a bite out of crime. Bye!